Hey guys, I'm Mike.
I'm Tim. And that's
I'm
Reed. Yeah.
And this is a board game rundown, and we are live from 2 countries because we cover games globally. What's up, Tim?
Not much, man. I have been looking forward to having Reed on the show again. The eagle-eyed, long time viewers may remember we streamed Reed in, God, maybe like 2 years ago into the studio for like an interview thing.
Yeah.
So it's been ages, but now we're like laser focused on a topic. We're not just going to grill him about Vigilante. I mean, we will later because there's more coming for that. But yeah, I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to this.
I think this top 5 list is going to be out of this world.
Oh! Let's say hi to our regulars. What's up, Ginger? You picked this name, and whose bedtime?
Yeah,
It's
well, it
Tim's
was Clark's.
bedtime.
It was Clark's bedtime, but then we got Jazz.
And we
here,
have Brandon,
we got Nick's.
one of our giveaway winners. And yes, of course, he is still nursing that same bottle.
There's a little left.
A little. Oh wow! You're gonna empty that before your birthday. That's good. He'll buy one. He'll be forced to buy one before his birthday. Then while he's buffering, I'm going to buy him one. Only while he's buffering. If he... Oh, no, he's not getting one. I was only going to do it while he was buffering.
What? I was totally going to get a new bottle for my birthday. I heard you say I was going to finish it from a...
Oh, well, yeah, you got to finish it before so that you buy one. And then when I get you one, you'll finally have options.
Oh, boy.
Because, yeah, you need to pour that. It is Wednesday, right? Last I checked.
Yeah, it's Wednesday when it gets
Whoop,
into
whoop. To say that was the least enthusiastic I've ever seen Tim about Wednesdays. Like, yeah, it's Thursday. Jeez. Reed, what are you drinking? We all know what Tim's drinking.
So I cheated a little bit. I'm not drinking whiskey. I've got a concoction here of what is it? Sprite, raspberry sourpuss, and melon liqueur.
Oh my God, sourpuss!
Ooh.
Yeah,
They still make sourpuss.
they do, and I keep them in business. No, I'm just kidding.
That was. I feel like I helped start their business in my early 20s, really hitting that sourpuss hard.
Nice. Wait a minute.
Oh my gosh. Green apple. Used to get the green apple sourpuss.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
So good. It's like juice. It's very dangerous.
Yes.
Wow. That's a throwback for sure. Yeah, no shame in whatever you're drinking. We've had plenty of guests drink water, so and 0 sugar Mountain Dew.
Okay. What are you drinking?
I am drinking Four Roses single barrel. I've got to say this might be one of my favorites. This stuff.
If it's single barrel, shouldn't it just be 1 rose? And there's not room for 4.
We can have 4 roses in 1 barrel.
Not if you're doing it right. I don't know. I'm just trying.
How many do you need? Jeez.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying, Mike. You're trying to cram 4.
Half
just
a dozen?
1 in there.
Oh, Tim's materialistic and needs a dozen roses. My God.
Oh,
all right. So
Chase with the jokes.
Let's Reed, you picked this topic, so why don't you go ahead and tell us what it is and why you picked this topic?
So we're picking our top 5 space board games and top 5 space media.
Yeah.
TV, books. Yeah, I mean, Space is great.
Nice.
Who doesn't like Alien? I mean, I'm a huge geek, so that's why I picked it.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, like here's the thing, Reed, is the more that like I talk to you, the more it's like, holy crap, we've got a ton in common, which is great. I love it. I got to write down another movie that I'm like, how is this not on my list?
Shift everything down.
It's a mess. My list is a mess. It's just random scribbles all over the place. I just know what my 1 and 2 are for sure. And then I've got a metric crap ton of honorable mentions probably.
I have a ton of honorable mentions for the game section. Oh my gosh.
The game section's out of this world too. Oh,
same.
My bad. Can I just say that I'm glad to have Reed and Mike in my orbit, you know, as people I call friends.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
This show is going to go supernova.
Wow.
Just wait till
You must be
further down.
I think Tim was higher than the stratosphere when he made up these jokes.
Spoiler alert, Supernova, that movie is not on my list. Sorry, guys.
Did I even see that?
It was like early 2000s sci-fi movie, hit like theaters for 30 seconds and then went like away.
I feel like I've probably seen it and then probably forgotten about it.
Yeah, that's probably where it belongs. Even though, geez, I just forgot another one and I can't look up the title. I can't think of the name of it, but it was basically Escape from New York, but in space with Guy Pearce. It's I forget what it's called now. It's like not great, but I love it. Like, I don't know, you know, like I love Guy Pearce anyways. Like, I think he's amazing. I'll watch him in anything, but
I mean, I could only muster up 30 space, let's call them franchises. I feel like there's probably more that I just forgot about. But I will say that my dishonorable mention was the one and only time I've fallen asleep in the movie theater. The Martian.
Oh, The Martian.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've never seen it. I should have seen it, but I've never seen it. That was one I was like, I want to read this book first because I heard it was an amazing book. And then I never read the book. And then the movie came out and I'm like, no, I can't watch the movie yet. I haven't read the book. And now I just feel like it's too late. Like eventually it'll pop up on a streaming service and I'll just watch it. Like, okay.
Hey, Tim,
Yo.
Bob is blasting you. He says he's doing the heavy lifting here and asking our viewers to smash that like button.
Yes.
So he says we're terrible hosts.
Well, you know, everybody.
I mean, in a roundabout way.
I like to wait until there's like a lot of people watching and then be like, everybody watching, I know you're watching, hit that like button. Like right now we've got like 10.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yeah,
I better
definitely.
see 10. I better see 10 likes on here.
Get those extra 3 likes before you.
And I will tell you, Ginger, as the resident H.P. Lovecraft fan, I do not have any cosmic horror on my list, even though, yes, I would say that counts, but they're almost more interdimensional depending on what side you go from, right? Like some were aliens and a bunch were from other dimensions. So if you want to like, well, actually, Cthulhu's from a different dimension and, you know, whatever. Sorry.
Yeah,
Good
I
justification.
that on my list either. I mean, there's plenty that I like. I've got a bunch right here. I've got what? Don't Mess with Cthulhu right here.
See?
Game. Unfathomable. Amazing.
Oh my God, I love that game. That game has a cousin that could be on your list. That's all I'm saying.
Could be.
It's written down. It's written down. I don't know.
How many cousins?
I'll say it.
I played it
just one good cousin. But all right, yeah. So Reed came up with the idea to not just do space games, but to actually also talk about like our favorite media, right? Books, movies, TV, in no particular order. We did leave off video games because that could just be a whole different list.
I think we all agreed about Mass Effect.
I think Mass Effect, yes. So honorary
Yeah.
numero uno for Mass Effect, our favorite space video game. And that's saying that without considering anything that we might have forgotten. So, which I'm sure we've forgotten plenty.
I guess Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the same.
Oh, Coder, dude. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I want them to release the director's cut, like on a console, so I can play the director's cut of Coder. But Laysai, such is life.
Such is life.
All right, man. Are we? Let's do like real tiny bit of news first, and then let's get right into these lists because these lists can go.
True.
Is that cool? Is that cool?
Yes, because
yeah.
Go ahead.
What? Oh, okay.
There's a couple Kickstarters you should mention.
That's where I was going to go right now. 27 hours, I believe, left, maybe as of filming, maybe 26 for Forges of Ravenshire. They hit 900 backers. They're really trying to hit 1,000 before it's all said and done. They're way funded. They're, the project is safe, as Dan likes to say, but they're way funded. We love Sam Stockton and his family. They're awesome. And really happy that their game is successful. I just want it to be even more successful. Awesome, Reed. Nice. That is awesome. Friend of the show and co-host of the Full 42, Katia Howitzon's Mosaic calendar is up and running. It is crushing. There's actually, I believe, a roll and write now included in the calendar. Or right? It's like part of the calendar.
Yeah, and like a mini Sudoku game now.
Yeah, so I mean, that stuff is so awesome. I cannot wait. I backed it. I'm a backer. So I can't wait. What other Kickstarters are we looking for, Mike? That I just get? Is that the two? They live. Save the City is still on Kickstarter, going strong. That's about done.
Ooh, and just launched yesterday, The Great Rat Wars, which is based off of a true story, and we will have a video soon. Should be out by the end of this week.
Nice. Reed, we will bother you about your Kickstarter. You got one coming soon, right?
Yeah, July 4th. I've already got my Independence Day promo.
Nice.
And my Canada Day promo, because I am Canadian and July 1st is Canada Day. So,
that's fair.
Tell us about your game.
So I'm reprinting Vigilante.
Yes.
And I am coming out with Hidden Motives, which Tim has a copy of. Prototype copy. It doesn't have all the impressive minis and everything that come in it. Not that it's like
I can use these He-Man minis that I've been
100%. Yeah.
That'll work.
That'll work.
It's basically the same thing.
But yeah, it's lots more superhero goodness, lots more social deduction, bunch of new scenarios that change up the game, and layers. So every superhero team needs a layer. So
yes,
yeah.
I was excited. We really liked Vigilante. Reed always will have a spot on this show because when we were very small, he gave us a chance with his game and let us do a video for it, and took a chance on us, sent us a prototype, and we all really liked Vigilante right out of the gate. And because there's a deck, we all love deck builders, but it was a deck builder with a twist and does something that no other deck builder that I have does. And it's superheroes, but like not regular superheroes, right? You got all these weird superheroes and
street level superheroes.
I love it though. It's
in sweatpants,
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that you guys have like your art design, right? It's different artists, but it all still feels very cohesive, right? Because it's not all just one artist. And I just love the way that you use the colors and everything. It's a good looking game that is fun to play and does some unique things. So
thank you. Yeah, thank you. And thanks Bob and Jeff.
Yeah.
I was telling Reed I didn't get to play that one because I had jumped on board right around when you guys were doing that one. So little over a year ago now.
Mm-hmm.
You can get in when we do Hidden Motives because I've got it. It's all in with my core box. I just threw it all in there, I had to make sure I was like messaging Reed, like, hey, is it cool? Like some of these cards overlap. Do I just throw these in? What do I do? But
that's what I went for with it. I'm not a big fan of like bloated expansions that add tons of new rules and really just, I mean, expansions you can't get in front of a new player.
Right.
So I tried to go really low on the rules overhead and just more content, make it more interesting, make the play more interesting.
Sweet.
That makes it feel more like a module, right? Than an expansion. And
exactly.
And we were talking about like Taverns of Tiefenthal, for example, being a game with a ton of modules that you can add, and it makes the game even better, but it's not so much that it's hard to put in front of a newer player, right? Or somebody new to the game. So I totally appreciate that approach. That's awesome.
For sure. I definitely teach that one with modules all the time.
So fear. Oh, go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Catnip Auction House, which is coming out June, July.
So yeah, Reed. Are we gonna get to play this game? I want to play this game.
I'll bring it to Origins, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us about. I already asked him about it, Tim, because I just heard Auction House and I was like, what? So tell us about this one too, please.
So it's 3 to 10 players. You are cats bidding on luxurious cat items. You're using catnip as currency to buy these lovely items. And when you win the bid, it's actually kind of like elimination bidding style. So each round, it's you can basically bid, or you can pass. And if you pass, you take all the money kind of in the pot.
Nice.
There's some incentive to pass, but it's so when you win the item, if you're the last person in, each card has a unique action. Some of them are ongoing, some are endgame scoring, some are one-time use, stealing catnip, stealing points, which are mice, stealing
nice.
Yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about it. It's the only light game I've ever designed.
Honestly, this just sounds awesome. I just like every bit of that sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Yeah. So Reed, I'm gonna also then bother you at Origins to play this like on camera, like in our booth. Like we could just film a, we could film a video right there. Yeah. Do it. It sounds like it would just go perfect for that. You know, like small footprint. We can just do it. And that sounds awesome. So good. You're locked in. No take backs.
Yeah. And this is Tin Robot. So this is
I'm
not self-publishing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we take That's amazing. I just want to make sure. And yes, I appreciate that we are now good cleaning background noise.
Yeah, because Katya's cleaning while we so every once in a while we just should be like mop, 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 right? Or whatever. Dust, dust, dust. We should cheer her on. We're cheerleaders for this. We're gonna make this happen.
The curling thing. Harder, harder.
Scrub, 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 scrub. Okay, we are making fun of the fact that we're cleaning background. This is amazing. All right. Anything goes, clearly.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
All right. So let's jump into this list.
Okay.
We Tim, you're definitely gonna start us off and we'll go clockwise per usual.
Okay. Are we I'm gonna say that we do our number 5 game. Yeah. And then we do our 5 media, right? You just do 5 and 5.
Okay.
Boom,
sure.
Boom. Are you good with that, Reed? Is that cool?
We're doing 5 and then 5 and 4 and 4. Or
correct. Correct. Like yeah. Well, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right, Mike. Will Mike hit the right button? Let's see.
In that case,
Mike hits the right button.
Tim, start us off with your number 5.
You did do it. Good job.
I've only poured once, so fortunate.
For Katya, do we need to break into a 3-part rendition of No Scrubs for her since she's scrubbing? No? Can I be the guy hanging out the side of the best friend's ride? Trying to holler at her, I guess.
Wow.
No shame in this game.
I mean, if you could bring joy to that, you're doing pretty good, I think.
That's an excellent point.
Oh, and tax filing.
That's what we
Look at
were
that.
last time.
Yeah.
Definitely better than filing your taxes.
Wait a minute. Well, U.S. tax day was like a month ago. When's Canadian tax day?
I think we were
Middle of May.
I don't know. I did it right away. I think it was end of April.
Okay.
I don't want to give anyone tax advice. I could be completely
Yeah, everybody just do them whenever you feel like it. You'll be fine.
Right.
You'll be fine.
Set your limitations anyway. You're good.
All right. All right. So my number 5, I'm going to go with my hardest to obtain game. It is super fun and it's really complicated. It's really crunchy. And that is Forbidden Stars from Fantasy Flight. Ooh. It's when they had the Warhammer 40K licensing for a half an hour, and they would bang out a bunch of those games. And it is you're playing as a asymmetric civilization. You're expanding to different planets. There's tech trees, so you can upgrade your units and things like that. It's really crunchy. It's a game. When you get it, you're committing to a game. It's not Twilight Imperium, but it's like half of Twilight Imperium. So it's a good 2.5, 3 hour game, but it's a real like tactical space war game. Because you're occupying planets, you're occupying orbits, you know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of stuff. There's warp storms that block off ways that you can travel. The board is made up of tiles, like big tiles. So it's kind of asymmetrical in that way as well. So you get different ways to play every time. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It is pretty fun.
Never.
Oh wait.
I don't even know if I've seen it.
I've never played that one.
Oh my gosh! Hold on one second. Hold on a second.
I just looked it up. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. Yeah, never even really looked into it. I've heard of it.
There's going to be so many games on that are not on my list just because I've never played them. There's so many good space games out there.
Oh, I was thinking of a totally different one. Yes, I bought this for my uncle for his birthday, and we never played it.
Yeah, it's
out of print now. It's worth a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it is.
Now you got to play it.
I know, right? I
don't know why. I don't know why I heard Among the Stars. I don't know.
I have that game over there, but I've never played it. I think I've got it.
That's what I thought you were talking about this whole time. I'm an idiot.
Well, I mean, you were before that, but it's cool.
Well, I know. Yes, this one looks so good. I really want to play this one. Here goes Tim. He talks about games that are out of print that nobody else can play.
I know. I'm a jerk.
Well, I mean, hey, actually, never mind. I can't say anything. I have an out of print on here.
I got one of those.
So,
one of those on there.
So I'm going to just, for my number 5 media, I'm going to knock out the book that's on my list. And I got like a tiny little story before, like how I discovered this book and found this book. So when I was a kid and I lived at my dad's house, I stayed in the basement, and he had 2 big collections. He had a huge record collection, lots of blues, early rock, stuff like that. And he had a massive book collection. And so the walls of the basement were like lined with shelves that had books and records on them, basically. And so when I would get bored, I would just like look for books, right, to read. Oh, I don't know what this is. This sounds good. So the first science fiction book I remember reading is Ender's Game. Yeah, like I don't know. I read it relatively young. I needed a break from Stephen King. I think I just like plowed through it or something because I read inappropriate stuff when I was, preteen. And but yeah, Ender's Game. I don't love Orson Scott Card personally, but like I love Ender's Game. Like I think that's a really good book. So sometimes you have to separate the art from the artist, right?
Yeah.
But that is a book that I loved. The movie is fine, whatever. But the book's really good. And I think it appealed to me because it's about this little kid, right? He's short, he's picked on, but he's the best at something. And that's, it's like your typical, Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, whatever story, right? So yeah, Ender's Game is my number 5. And the twist that's sort of at the end of Ender's Game, I really enjoyed. And like as a kid, it blew me away. I did not see it coming. So I'm missing Humblebird. Jason, I guarantee you have more hair than me, so, and you're probably taller than me too. So you got that. So, and then Chris, I don't know because I never played StarCraft, so I don't know if Forbidden Stars is a re-implementation of that design or not. That's a good question. It won't say on the box, but I can at least look up the designer.
Was it
or not? Because I don't see it.
I thought StarCraft was supposed to play more like an RTS, and there were resources. And I'm totally wrong. I don't.
Yeah,
really
go ahead and
know.
just say a bunch of stuff we don't know. No, I don't know, man. I really don't. So yeah, my number 5's Forbidden Stars and Ender's Game. And I almost left Ender's Game off this list because of Orson Scott Card, but I do like the book a lot. So it's like, I just pretend like somebody not a jerk wrote it and go from there.
Yeah,
it is.
I feel the same, especially about Harry Potter and all of that. It's like
it's tough, dude.
The art is great, but
it's tough. It's sometimes it's really disappointing to read or hear about what creators, whatever you want to call them, then go on and do, and you're like, oh, do you have to suck? Like,
Yeah,
it's pretty.
I like Chris Brown songs. I just
you just don't beat your spouse to them, right? It's okay. Yeah, so it is what it is. Corey Kanitsa, however you pronounce
it is a
that.
remake, 100%.
Okay.
Konieczka? Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, I will butcher it.
That's cool. Yeah, so maybe it's similar. Yeah, I saw Ender's Game, the movie. I've never read the book, but
okay.
It seemed like an interesting story.
The book is obvious, whatever. Everybody says this. Book's a million times better than the movie. Blah blah blah. It's so cliche to say. In this case, it's definitely correct. There's just more. It's just the more in depth, more character development, more everything. And the movie was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine. I didn't hate it. I saw it in theaters and was like, cool.
I did mark it
feel
down.
like
it's very low on my list, but I did mark it down.
I feel like we're going to have a mini game going on here where every time I haven't seen a movie that's brought up, everybody should drink. No, not really.
Oh, God, they'll die.
Maybe right. Ender's Game, there's number 1.
So Reed, if I think about it, what I'll do is I'll give you like a secondhand copy of it. So then that way you have not contributed financially.
I like that.
To Orson Cart.
I like that.
Then you can just read it, whatever, and you do whatever you want with it after that.
Perfect.
See? Or I'll go to Half Price Books and find you a copy, because then they don't get the money for that anyways either.
Yeah.
So you're good.
Nice.
All right, Reed, what do you got for number 5?
Okay, number 5, pretty mainstream, kind of the hotness right now, or one of the hottest games, Dune Imperium.
Oh yeah, Dan is so happy.
I've only played the base game. I just got Rise of X, and I'm very excited to play it. I played the base game a ton. My first playthrough of it, I was like, oh, there's not a lot of deck building. You don't see your cards too often, but once you figure out kind of I guess your play style and how to play the board to your play style, I think you can make a lot of stuff happen in that game.
That was a game that originally I was worried was going to be too tight, but as I become a little more acclimated with it, and I've only played it a few times, but it's like, oh yeah, no, I see it now. Like it's not near as like loose as most deck builders are. It's like, I'll just do this and get this. Like, no, you need to have a strategy. But you can really make things work. And also, what an awesome implementation of that theme. Like, oh God, that theme just really comes through.
The multi-use of the cards is, I think, what does it for me.
Yes.
The idea that I can use this ability up here and only gain access to these spots, or I can use it as money or swords or anything.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, Dune Imperium is amazing in the fact that it can be tight, but not necessarily punishing.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of spread out a bit. I mean, you want to go up all of those tracks as you can, really. There is some specializing, but you can kind of dabble and still have a successful strategy in this. And yeah, it's amazing because there's not a lot of really tight games that I totally love. I enjoy several, but I love Dune Imperium, and it is on my list. And so I'm just going to choose a different game where I have Dune Imperium on my list. It's incredible. I put a spoiler to it over here. I have not played with either expansion, both of which I hear improve the game, which is crazy to me. I do know that they finally added a rule where there's a market refresh, and a lot of people are saying that they just use that rule in the base game now, because why wouldn't you? And I'd also like to add Paul Dennen as one of my favorite designers because of the Clank games. One in particular that could be on this list. But
Catacombs?
Yeah, great designer. Yes.
Oh, Catacombs is for me is so much better than base Clank. I love Catacombs.
I really like Catacombs a lot, and I was surprised that there was people that I game with that are like, I don't like Catacombs, it's too hard. I'm like, I'm great at this game. I love it. Like, I don't know why.
I'm great at it too. I love it. It's chaos. I think that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I think so. Reed, we might have to try to get a game of that in, because
for sure.
I love Catacombs.
All right, I'm gonna switch over to my media. So I actually group mine. There's too many star somethings that I enjoy to have them all be separated out. So my number 5. Oh yeah, very spicy.
It must flow. It's so spicy.
Spice must flow. So my number 5 media, and this might be surprising considering my cat's name is Locutus, but Star Trek universe is my number 5. So
nice.
Next Generation, super nostalgic for me. Definitely my favorite series. Loved Voyager. I haven't caught up to Discovery, but I think the first 2 seasons I saw, I loved. I really need to go back to it. I need to go back to Strange New World, and I just finished Picard.
I just finished Picard myself. I liked season 1. I didn't love season 2, and I thought season 3 was really good. Yeah,
I think I heard season 3 was really good, so my expectations were higher than.
Oh, sure.
But
well,
I was good. It was definitely better than 2.
I was so kind of let down by season 2, like a little bit, like, okay, I get what you're saying. But then, so I kind of came in with a lower bar, like, oh no, because I thought season 1 was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed kind of like a whole different take on it. But yeah, I love Next Generation quite a bit. I think it's really good. But there might be a different version of Trek that I like a little bit more.
Uh-oh, spoiler.
The DS9ers are hardcore DS9ers.
Sure. They are. And I was really late to the party on Deep Space Nine. Way like I watched all of it in the last like 3 years, probably. Like I never watched Deep Space Nine. I was like, I don't need to watch that. And then everybody's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And I'm a big, Mike, you can go to sleep now. I'm a really big Jeffrey Combs fan. And to like find out that he played like 10 roles, you know what I mean? Like an obscene amount of roles in that. It was amazing. Anyways, so
cool.
Sorry, Mike.
Blah, blah, blah.
Sorry,
blah,
Mike.
Star Trek. Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah. Listen, Star Trek's amazing.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So my number 5 space game. Even when I got into the hobby, Battlestar Galactica was like pretty much already out of print.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, hey, I'm not going to go chase this down. Eventually somebody will show me this game because I'm sure I'll run into somebody that owns it. I know multiple people that own this game. They haven't taught it to me yet. So my number 5 is a social deduction game that started as a print and play of Battlestar Galactica, and that's Dark Moon.
Ooh, good choice.
I've played a lot of Dark Moon, and I
PSG
really
Lights.
love this game. I like the fact that, I mean, you're just rolling dice behind a screen, and those dice are rigged to screw you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2/3 of the side of that die are negative numbers, but you're going to roll 4 of them, and you got to submit one to repair the ship in some way. But it's most likely that you're only going to roll a bad result, and you can't repair their ship. But as soon as you put that negative die out there, everybody at that table thinks you are infected. And I love that. I love it that as soon as somebody does anything just slightly suspicious, everybody jumps on you. And it just starts from the get-go. The suspicion is just there. And I have just seen some games that have had some totally epic infected reveals where it's just, blam, here's my power. Roll. Add that to your shield. Add that to your shield. Add that to your shield. Oh, game over. You know, like, and that is just super satisfying if you can pull it off, which doesn't happen a lot, but it can. Because really, you're trying to stay hidden as long as you can. You do better if you're able to keep sticking those negative dice in and not repairing the ship than you are if you reveal as infected. Because if people start to suspect you, they can put you in quarantine, and then you can't really do a whole lot. You can't reveal. You can't submit dice anymore. And so I just love the different ways that you can kind of control what people are doing if you think that they're suspicious. I love how fast people get suspicious of what you're doing. And I will say the last time I played it, I don't own it yet. I need to get the Shadow Corporation expansion. This adds a whole extra layer, which is an instant win condition. You can vote to put 3 people on an escape pod. If the 3 people that get out are all good, the good guys win. But if just one of those people is infected, the infected win. That tiny little addition to that game just took it just made it so much better for me. But I love Dark Moon. It's been years since I've played it. But, man, I've had so many great experiences playing that game. I got at least a dozen plays in on that one.
That's great.
Yeah, Nix, I got nothing on you there. I only have regular BSG, only. But I do have Forbidden Stars. Where's your Forbidden Stars at? Come on.
Okay. So my number 5 space movie / show. All right. So I'm not a huge movie buff, as many people know that watch us a lot. Tim is in his element tonight. I'm glad for that. Since a young age, I watch sports, and it's just, that's my distraction a lot of times. And so my movie base is pretty limited. And so I'm picking very obvious space movies, but they're ones I've probably watched a lot and love.
There's one on your list that ain't that obvious.
Okay. Well, yeah, there probably is. All right. So number 5 for me is Independence Day.
Okay.
Welcome to Earth.
I love Bill Pullman's speech in that movie. I mean, don't you just like feel, I mean, come on. That's one of the greatest speeches in any movie I've ever seen. I mean, and then, I mean, Will Smith punches an alien. I mean, come on. But it's just a feel-good, fun movie, and I'm totally okay with that. It's not that deep. It's just fun, feels good. It's got some action.
Hey.
And it's got some cool aliens in it, too. So,
Hey, and Brent Spiner's in it, so you got that.
Data.
You got that.
Data's in it.
Yeah, he
Yes.
is. I have to look up who that is.
He was the scientist that gets the thing wrapped around his neck, and he makes him talk. Release
yes.
me.
Nice.
Yeah, that's Data.
Same thought, Chris. Same thought there.
So there you go. I mean, I picked a movie with Will Smith in it. So you're not going to get a whole lot of deep cuts from me if Independence Day is my 5. I'm sorry. But I do love that movie,
Smith,
and I've watched it a lot. I have.
Will Smith punched Chris Rock like that alien. Oh, boy. We all have bad days.
All right. So moving on from the guy that's going to put shame to this list, we return to Tim's number 4.
Let's do it.
Uh-oh, what are we doing?
Oh, Mike, are you hitting the button for number 4?
Yes, we're moving. We got it.
There we go.
We're a little late.
You started off so strong. Strong.
Well, we're fine.
Are you hitting the thing? Or is there a thing? Or is this it?
No, we
what? I hit the thing. Did you not get the thing?
Oh, maybe I was buffering when that happened.
You buffered during just so Tim gets his intro. Let's roll out the red carpet again for his number 4. I'll give him time to grab a game. There you go.
Yeah, I gotta show. I was like, I could show this one off because honestly, while I was sitting here, I'm like, this game isn't on the list, and it just got put on the list because I love this space game and nobody talks about it. It's an older one. It's from Fun Forge, and it is called Quantum. Do you guys play Quantum?
I've never played that one either.
So like Quantum, you lay out a grid of planets, and then the dice, you've got these 6-sided die that are all like a specific, like your color, and then the number on the die tells you what kind of ship it is, but the ships can morph and change, so you can change your ship by moving the die pips up and down to make them kind of suit your needs and what you need to do. It seems like there's a lot going on, but it's very easy to learn and teach. Really cool, like chunky, like almost like gel looking die.
I have played this. I'm looking at the pictures. I definitely played this.
It's been years. It's been years since I played it, but like I'll always keep it in my collection because I really liked it. And I just think it's really cool what you can do, like using the dice as your ships, and again the pip value, right, determines what kind of ship they are and what they can do. And it's a fun game. I want to talk about it, right? I don't want to always talk about the same 5 space games, right? So Quantum it shouldn't be near as hard to get as Forbidden Stars. It may be out of print, but it shouldn't be like $1 million out of print. So nice. That's my number 4.
Is it?
Yeah, I enjoyed that when I played it.
I never played that one. It's ranked 609. Designer is Eric Zimmerman. What else did he do? I don't know that designer.
Man, so many IPs to pick from. Right. For my media, I'm gonna go with a guilty pleasure science fiction movie. So Mike, you can drink because you'll not have seen
guilty
it. Guilty pleasures. This is this is not a movie that when you go to see it in the theater, you bring a bag of Oscars to throw at the screen to award it for all these amazing performances in it. But I don't care. I love this movie. I thought it was really cool when I watched it. I liked the twist, and that is Pandorum. So that is Dennis Quaid and Ben Foster, and it's like these people. It's kind of like the plot to Nemesis. These people wake up on this ship, and their crew is missing, and so they're trying to figure out like what's going on. And then there's like it kind of splits time between them, and then like what's going on with Dennis Quaid, and he's like the captain of the ship. But this is like a like a ship that's traveling like light years, and to basically survive the trip and not age out, right? You go into like stasis, so that way you don't age. And yeah, so these people wake up. They're not supposed to be awake. Other people are missing, and then they're not alone on the ship. Like something's happening. It's got a fun little twist to it. I enjoyed it. Again, it's sort of when I used to do a movie blog with a friend called Men on Film, because we were like 3 snaps and around the world. And we would watch just kind of whatever movies we wanted to watch, like, oh, it doesn't all have to be good movies. Oh, is that Locutus?
That's Locutus.
Oh, he's here to take us out.
Nice. Camera hog.
Because I said,
is there? Wait, is that the deluxe edition with actual catnip inside?
Yeah.
He's interested in it. He's interested.
I don't know. Good promo, Locutus. Good promo.
But anyways, Pandorum is on my list. I'm leaving off some of like the very obvious ones because again, they'll get talked about, or we talk about them all the time. But this is just a semi-okay movie from like the late 2000s, like 2007, 2008, maybe a little more recent than that, but not much.
I'll have to check that out. I've never heard
I just kind of like sci-fi movies with a twist, give me something, and it's kind of scary. Like I like horror stuff too. And it's more of like a horror movie too, so
that's kind of cool.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nemesis the movie, basically.
yeah. I mean, so is Alien, right? Or Aliens, depending on which version of Nemesis. There was a conversation going on about that in the Discord, actually, right? Like, but yeah, it's kind of got that same vibe, right? No chest bursters, sorry. But it's almost more along the lines of like The Ruins or something. I think that was the name of the movie with the girls go in the cave, like down in like Mexico.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, but anyways, that is my number 4, Pandorum and Quantum from Funforge.
Quantum might just be out of print based on the prices on BGG for it.
So. Oh, do I need to sell it? I'm just kidding. I'm not selling.
All right. Should I move on to my number 4 here? Oh, we've got
yeah, go for it. But you might want to, if Alf is coming, you might want to hide Locutus. Lucky.
Locutus is a free man. I have zero control over him.
Most cats are that way. Yeah.
So my number 4 board game is out of print. I hope it comes back, and I hope it comes back with better components. But my number 4 is The Expanse.
I want to play this. Have never played it.
It's got some going back to the Dune, it's got some spicy decisions.
Nice.
I mean, they could have done a little bit, maybe upgrade the cubes to little spaceships, or like.
Is that this version?
Something that looked a little bit better, but the really cool thing about the game is there's a market, and cards again are multi-purpose. I guess that's kind of a theme with me, but you can either use it for the action points and let someone else have the action, or you can use it for the ability. And I'm trying to remember if somebody else can use the action points. Actually, no, I don't think so. I think you either use the ability or you use the action points. Action points to like move your little spaceships around, drop influence cubes on planets. And then they maybe if you go a couple more over just to the there's the Rocinante. So that's the Rocinante is the ship that the main characters fly in, and the Rocinante goes to kind of whoever's in last place. So it's a good kind of catch-up mechanic. And yeah, there's like different you never really know when you're going to score. That's the cool thing about it. It pops out in the market with all the other cards, and you kind of need to plan for it based
So-
on what.
I've watched all of season 1 and most of season 2. What's the goal in the game?
So in the game, it is victory points, but you want victory points by having the most influence on planets in the region that is doing the majority of the scoring for that time.
So are you playing like as like the Earthers or the Martian?
Yeah, exactly. So you're either Earth, Mars, the OPA, or I can't remember. It's been a while.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I just was curious.
Proto people.
I was just curious with the game, like what the factions would be, because of how the politics in the show play out.
Yeah, it's got that, and what I really like about it is there's a
Belters.
Belters, yeah, Belters in this, I guess the OPA, and the idea is that if you take the action points, and usually the action points are a little bit more desirable, each card has factions on it, and only those factions can take the ability after you've used the action points, and they take it in order on like where they're standing in the initiative track. But if they take it, they have to drop to the bottom of the track, meaning that if there's a spicier card that comes up later, they'll have last pick of it.
Ah, nice.
Really fun.
Okay, interesting.
Very expensive.
Wow,
but great.
That sounds interesting. Yeah, I don't really know anything about that one. Wow.
I did have the Expanse written down as an IP that I could have talked about, but I'm not going to now, which is easy because you're narrowing down my list for me because I've got so many things still written down.
Yeah, so that's the Expanse. That's my game, and moving on to my this one's a movie, and for the most part, I'm going with universes, meaning everything kind of in that franchise. No pun intended with the universe, by the way. But my number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, I need to see 3. I haven't seen 3 yet. Have you seen 3?
I haven't seen 3.
No.
Okay.
I specifically said Guardians of the Galaxy because I didn't want to, bring 2 into this.
Oh,
yeah.
Like 2?
Thank you. No, me neither.
It was okay. It was enjoyable. But Guardians of the Galaxy, when I watched that for the first time, I got like Star Wars: A New Hope vibes. I got like space opera. I mean, of course, it was comedic. It was hilarious. I
mean, hats off to James Gunn for making those characters like a viable franchise. I mean, that was not because Marvel Comics had like great Guardians of the Galaxy comics. As an old comic book nerd, that is not true. Like there's some weird shit and it's fine but it's very niche, but like to get Guardians to be like, for Groot to be a like household name, right? And Star-Lord and Gamora and all of them, right? Genius. It's great.
Yeah, I think Rocket's probably my favorite of them.
You gotta love Rocket. Bring me that guy's arm. I love it. I love Rocket. How does Bradley Cooper, like, who sounds nothing like that in anything else, is so unique for?
This is a great pick because this was my number 4. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. That movie is, I think, pound for pound, probably my favorite Marvel movie. Even it's a interesting story. They're interesting characters, and there are so many laugh out loud moments from just, like you said, super strange characters that are now like household names. I love that movie, and specifically 1 because 2 is just with the scenes with the dad. I don't know.
It didn't
really work for me.
It sucks because I absolutely love with all of my heart Kurt Russell, and some of those parts with him are the less interesting.
Yes.
parts
And not
of that
because of
movie
him.
for me. No, it's just not as
Just
exciting to watch as all the other stuff, you know?
all the other stuff is just really fun. Yeah.
It was just slow. I think the second one was slow compared to.
Yeah.
That's what
'cause
it is.
Guardians 1 is just rip roaring. You know, you got Benicio del Toro being weird. I love him.
Yeah.
You know,
He's creepy at everything. He does a real good job of that.
he is, but I love that dude ever since like Usual Suspects. Like when I first saw him in Usual Suspects.
He was really creepy in that. In was it Star Wars 8? I think.
Yeah. Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And Bautista as Drax, I just love how he does not get a joke. Just,
nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too good. Yeah.
Oh, so good, so good. Great.
And the
pick.
Bautista Mantis stuff is also a ton of fun. Really good.
Yeah, I really like Mantis. I think she's like the best thing about the second movie for me.
Yeah. And the Christmas special.
Yeah, for sure.
Or holiday special, excuse me. But yeah.
Nice. Great pick. Okay. All right. So moving some stuff around a little bit. So my number, I'm like trying to figure out where to move stuff because
it'd be your number 4.
Well, it is my number 4. We'll just get it out of the way because it's obvious. Star Wars Rebellion is too good. I mean, it feels like Star Wars. It feels like space cat and mouse. And the way each faction plays totally differently. It's a completely different game depending on the side that you're playing. And they try to coax you with all those like goals that you can try to achieve, but really you need to search out the rebels. You need to find them and trying to get all those little goals and quest cards. You just gotta spread out and find them. But Rebellion's too good. I know it's obvious. I don't care. There's a reason it's ranked so high. There's a reason it's beloved. The expansion makes it better. It improves the combat. Man, it feels so epic when you're playing it, when you're done playing it. You have a story to tell. I thought you were here and you were posturing on Mandalore the whole time. And Star Wars Rebellion is incredible. It's such a good game.
I kind of left it off my list on purpose.
I know.
Because it is my favorite. It is one of my all-time favorite games.
Right.
Well, I haven't played it. This is really sad. I really want to play it, but
man.
So
mandatory.
I'm gonna assume. Well, you said New Hope vibes. Vibes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to then assume that you do like Star Wars. This is the best.
I'm not sure if it's in my top 3 or not. You'll have to find out. But
this is my this is my favorite Star Wars game. This is the one that feels the most like Star Wars to me. It's my favorite.
I have Imperial Assault, and I think before I get Rebellion, I gotta play.
Oh my god! I love Imperial Assault so much. It's so good.
I like the deck builder a lot too. It's really good.
And there's a new one coming out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about this.
The LCG, the new Star Wars deck builder coming out.
Yes, next year. Yes.
I will play Rebellion. I promise you that. I need to play Rebellion.
I'm sure they have copies of it in Canada.
Oh yeah. I mean, you get weekly up here.
I mean, I could have put this like at the very top of my list, but I'm just kind of getting it out. It's obvious, but I knew Tim was going to leave it out. You can't. It's a fantastic game.
It's the best.
It's really probably the best. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not going to choose Guardians of the Galaxy. I agree. It kind of went on my list, off my list. So my number 4 is the remake of Lost in Space.
With Gary Oldman or the TV show?
The TV show that was on Netflix.
Okay. I thought
the
you were
Netflix
talking about
special.
The Gary Oldman, William Hurt joint with Matt LeBlanc that came out in like the late 90s. This is my level of nerdiness when it comes to movies is those.
I
Nirvanas.
have
I remember
only
that. I remember that.
seen the Netflix remake, so I don't know a whole lot about what it's based on. I've only watched the new series, and I thought it was
Parker
really
Posey
good.
in that? Isn't Parker Posey in that? You don't know who she is?
No.
I think she's the new Mr. Smith. I thought she was. Somebody famous.
Yes, she is. And she plays a very interesting, sinister character in this. So the whole premise is like, we've got to leave Earth. Like we can't, it's uninhabitable. We have to leave. And so we send people up to find another planet to live on. Parker Posey plays this doctor, and literally she is playing as a doctor. She is pretending to be a doctor so that people value her, and come to find out she's not at all. She ends up being a complete shyster in the whole thing. Spoilers. But no, I mean,
always comes first.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining the whole plot twist there, Mike.
Not at all. You kind of figure it out pretty quick, quite frankly. And she's not a huge character. I don't know. I liked it quite a bit.
I watched most of season 1 and then I got sidetracked, and then I never kind of went back to it. That not a comment on my opinion of the show, but it took a little.
That's my problem.
You're what now?
I've got a really short attention span, so if
sure,
grab me, I'm out, and that's what happened here. Like, it was good. I think I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it enough to keep going. If that makes sense.
Well,
fair.
Yeah, no, it does. And sometimes my problem too is it took me a few episodes to not only shake the movie from the 90s, but to also shake, because Mike, I used to watch that show on reruns as a kid. Like it would come on like Saturday, like early afternoons, like in Southern Indiana on the TV station. And
I don't remember that. I grew up in the same area. I don't remember that.
We're definitely going to play Rebellion, by the way. And yeah, Valerian was great. I enjoyed that one.
There you go. So there's my number 4. I enjoyed.
So I tend to duck out too early. So this is my problem, because if it gets better, like, I'm probably missing out. So I think I'm going to go back and check it out, because I've done that for like Walking Dead. I've done that for there's like Stargate. Like, there's a number of shows that I've gone
I do that as well.
Yeah, I did.
I gave up on Game of Thrones in the middle of season 2, and the payoff was at the end of season 2.
Yep.
So I went back to it and I did finish it.
Okay. Good to know. Because sometimes I do that too. Like, I've heard everybody talking about how good White Lotus is, right, on HBO. I watched the first season, and I watched half of the first season and was like, I hate all of these characters. I don't want to watch this show anymore. I don't like anybody. And then you
can't hate Jennifer Coolidge. Like, it's the Jennifer Coolidge show.
Oh, well, it is. It is. Yeah, I was watching it and Kelly walks in and goes, "Is that Stifler's mom?" I'm like, "Yes. Yes, it is."
Just remember that.
And Snap, right? Yeah, she's funny. But like, everybody talked about how good White Lotus was, and then I think I realized it was season 2 that like really caught on. And I love Aubrey Plaza so much, so I finished season 1 like literally yesterday, and I'm gonna start season 2 soon. But I took a break and watched Smoking Aces today, because that's another early 2000s movie that I just love. Guilty pleasure. That's got a ton of people in it. Ben Affleck, Chris Evans, Ryan Reynolds, Ray Liotta, Jeremy Piven. There's a million people. I think Alicia Keys is one of the hitmen.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. Anyways, total trash movie, but it's fun.
All right,
Okay.
then. All right, Tim, you get to bring us back home here with your number 3. Were you buffering during that one? Do you need another one?
I mean, if you want to just like do one with a little more fanfare for my ego, that'd be fine. But I'll make do. I'm a professional.
Okay, good.
I'll pull it together. I'm a
Okay,
professional.
good. That's good. Thank God.
Man, so many to choose from. I'm going to go with the one that I play the most. And that's Star Realms. Star Realms is a super simple, straightforward deck builder. When that game came out, I played the crap out of it. I bought a copy for a friend because they loved it, but they lived in Indianapolis, so like now you've got a copy, you can play it. And then the digital version came out, and I don't even know if I know where my physical copy is anymore. I perpetually have 2 to 3 digital games of Star Realms going perpetually, and have for many years, with the same handful of people. And so if anybody wants to play Star Realms, hit me up. I'm not even that great at it, so I'm really good for your win record. I just love playing. I love trying out different card combos, and Star Realms is, I put so much of my life into this game, and it would be unfair if it wasn't on my list.
I didn't even have that on my list, like anywhere on my list, but Star Realms is incredible. How could I forget that?
Well, it's funny because I'm working on my list, and I'm going through BGG on my iPad, and then I get a notification that it's my turn in Star Realms. And so I take my turn and I go back to my list, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Like,
I figured it would have been the first things you thought of because you're perpetually playing it.
I don't even think about it. I get up in the morning and I take Star Realms turns while brushing my teeth. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Yeah, but you're
turns?
100% right. Like, it's the digital thing. So I think I had physical Hero Realms. I got rid of it. Star Realms I've had on digital. Like, that's the perfect game to play whenever you're bored, whenever you're on a train, whatever you're doing.
Yep. Yeah, it's just really good. It's fun. It's very simple and straightforward. The expansions do, zhuzh it up a little bit, but for the most part, it's a very straightforward. Sometimes I just want to play a deck builder where I can just shut my brain off and just go with nice, obvious combos and just see what happens. So I enjoy Star Realms quite a bit. Oh man. So if I go with this for my number 3, okay, so I'm going to go a little more mainstream with my number 3 on my media.
Tim's down to my level now.
This is, I don't know, maybe you've seen this movie, maybe you haven't, Mike, but it is definitely way more. I guarantee you've at least heard of this movie, and that other people watching this have heard of this movie, unlike Pandora. My number 2, maybe not so much. I'm going to go way back to obscure, but it's one of my all-time favorite movies. So just going to say, off of the things I'm leaving off of this list, I'll wait till later, because I don't want to step on anybody else's list.
Wait, are you about to say Office Space, or?
No, somebody said Office Space. I thought it was hilarious. No, my number 3 is the Star Trek that strikes at the heart of me. And that is the Wrath of Khan. Okay. Wrath of Khan is not only an amazing Star Trek movie, but it is just a great freaking movie. It is one of the all-time great movies. You don't have to like original series Star Trek to appreciate it. I guarantee you the end of that movie will have you in tears. And what blows me away is that the end of that movie was supposed to kind of be the end of some stuff until they talked some people into coming back and doing more things. I won't spoil anything for a 50-year-old movie, but Ricardo Montalban is incredible. It's Wrath of Khan is just one of the all-time great movies. I don't even ever call it Star Trek 2. It is just Wrath of Khan. Or even honestly, it's just called either Wrath or Khan in my house. If I'm at my sister's house, it's like, oh my God, I just watched Wrath again the other day. Totally know exactly what she's talking about. But Mike, if you have not seen it, that is, if I was going to tell you to watch one Star Trek movie, that's the one to watch. Next Generation's got some good movies, especially not First Contact. Is it First Contact? First Contact's really good. Yeah. But out of the original series movies, the Voyage Home is fun. It's fine, but really, man, Wrath of Khan, that's where it's at. I cry at the end of it. I don't care. It's so good. And I have a soft spot in my heart for the original Star Trek original series, even though it gets real bonkers by the third season because they changed writers and a whole bunch of stuff happened. Which is why, honestly, Next Generation and Deep Space Nine are better because of the longevity and the consistency of the writing and you could almost skip the first season of Next Generation because it's rough, and there's even
you can't skip season 1.
Well, she gets killed by a slime puddle because she wanted to make Pet Cemetery. It's but when she comes back, it's amazing. You do need to watch that episode at least, because when she comes back later, it makes it so meaningful, and it's really great. But you do get some really uncomfortable racist Ferengi stuff in that first season. But man, when Next Generation gets going, it's flipping fantastic. Q is amazing. I love Q like so much.
Yeah.
The Borg are cool, like super cool. There was a Star Trek episode, Next Generation episode. It's in one of the later seasons. I think it's called It's not Metamorphosis. That's a original series. The one where they're all like going, like it's almost like a body horror kind of episode. It's like a David Cronenberg-esque. They're transforming because something happened in their DNA when they're going through like the transporters, and it's making them revert to like these animal forms. Oh my gosh, it's really creepy and scary and a ton of fun. But
that's
okay.
Wrath of Khan is a great pick.
But Wrath of Khan from Hell's Heart. I stab it. Oh, the Kobayashi Maru. I mean, there's so many things from Wrath of Khan. It's the Star Trek movie for me.
I mean, it's so good they brought Khan back for the new movies. Not to say
Into Darkness.
Terrible, but
yeah, I was hoping they would do something a little different with that one. But I thought Star Trek Beyond is actually kind of underrated. I think that one's I enjoyed that one. So hi Mike.
Oh, I love the Wesley Crusher stuff.
Oh, I hate Wesley Crusher so much. Mostly, I think my problem now is that my opinion of Wesley is colored by my opinion of Will Wheaton, who I don't love as an individual, like as a human being. And that's not always fair to him, or fair to that character, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but yeah, Wayne, the Wrath of Khan uniforms, like unique. I love it. I even think, was Kirstie Alley in that one? She might've been in that one too, as not Sabek, something like that. She was either in that one or the third one where she first pops up, but yeah.
We believe you.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, my number 3 is going to be a crossover. Dark Moon.
Yes.
Dark Moon is there, even though it's BSG Express or whatever you want to call it. And by the way, Hail Hydra is BSG Express, and it will forever be known as that.
I like Dark Moon more than Hail Hydra, and I'm a Marvel nerd.
I mean, I think Hail Hydra is maybe it's good for like a quick social deduction game. Dark Moon is, even though it's BSG Express, it's still a long game. So the secret die rolling that you're mentioning, Mike, is that's one of my main mechanics in Vigilante. I love that mechanic so much that I use this. It's different, obviously. I implemented it differently, but but yeah,
inspiration though, right?
Most of the game. What's that?
I said it's inspiration. You play stuff and you're like, oh yeah, I like this, you know?
Yeah.
Just when you get that roll behind your screen and it's all negatives, and you're like, okay, put on a brave face. All right, guys, this is all I had. I swear to God.
I love that aspect of it.
I will say the theme and first of all, the art feels like very 90s video game to me. And the theme is not really, doesn't feel there. The Infected maybe a little bit, but But yeah, there doesn't really feel like theme, but the core gameplay of that is amazing, and that's why it's number 3 on my list.
Yeah, and
Nice.
Ginger, I'm glad you like Will Wheaton. I my issues are my issues with him, and if somebody gets you through some rough times, that's awesome, man. That's good.
I mean, Will Wheaton's series got me through, or introduced me to my favorite game ever, which is not space, so I can say is Dead of Winter.
Okay, on tabletop
playthrough. I'm like, wow, this looks amazing, and it's I don't know. My copy looks so tattered because I've played it so many times.
Nice.
Mike,
nice.
And that's another one where you can vote to exile somebody just because of stuff they did. It just ramps up tension real fast when you get everybody that can like gang up on you like that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. Look at this. I was right. She was in Wrath of Khan. And I think she left Star Trek to do Cheers.
Wow. Well, I mean, that was probably a good call on her part.
Yeah.
Cheers did pretty good.
Man, she was so gorgeous. Like Wrath of Khan with those eyes. Like she just had those eyes. You're just like, anyways.
Awesome. I've got a number 3 for movie/TV series.
Let's do it. I want to hear it.
My number 3 it's tricky. It's
Run DMC?
Stargate Universe, but not Stargate Universe, if you know what I mean. It's in the Stargate Universe.
Okay.
It is absolutely not Stargate Universe.
Okay.
So Stargate had 3 main. Well, there's the movie, of course.
Yeah.
Then there's the SG-1, Atlantis, and Universe. Universe was the last one. It was 2 seasons. For me, all of the characters in that were deplorable. And I had zero attachment to any of them. So when bad stuff happened, I'm like, okay, I guess. but SG-1, oh my god, SG-1 is incredible.
Yeah.
It's a commitment, but the build-up in that show, the going from being kind of the target of attacks to making allies, discovering new technologies, building up new ships, that whole thing, amazing. And I will say there's one episode in particular that got me, and you're talking about crying. There's one episode that was just so beautifully done about one character that died, and they didn't tell you who the character was until the very end, and it was from a reporter's standpoint. So they were just going around interviewing people, asking questions, and you're like, what's happening? And it was just so brilliantly done. And by the end of the episode, I was weeping. Like it was.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it when something can move you, right? Like it really affect you.
Yeah. Richard Dean Anderson, amazing.
Yeah, MacGyver in space or other dimensions.
And I just really love the dynamic of the characters. Like they were kind of like a family almost, right?
Yeah.
You had, like Daniel Jackson, who was definitely not military and very like ethical, and then you had kind of the Sam Carter was like a great character. I followed her through to Sanctuary. I couldn't really get into it as much, but I loved her character.
Well, and again, right, like we're gonna just keep talking about Kurt Russell because Kurt Russell was in the movie with James Spader, and that movie was a trip. When that movie came out, it's like, what is happening?
Anything that's that old, I feel like they had so much filler in the show. So not every episode is a winner. I mean, they had 20-something episodes a season, 10 seasons. So and Ginger's point, 100%. There was some lazy writing, but
also it was a sci-fi channel show. So you've got those production values. And again, right, like there's a sci-fi series for Dune, the old sci-fi, and that's probably the truest to the books, but by far looks the worst out of any implementation of Dune. But you get sometimes though, you're just going to take it where you can get it, right? It's like, no, I love these characters. I'll select through a bad episode or a less interesting episode because I know what's coming. It's going to be amazing. And then once you get through the whole season, you just go back and watch the ones you like. It doesn't matter because you already got all the backstory.
There you go. Hacking your favorite shows.
That's what I do with Game of Thrones. Like, I don't know if I can ever go like all the way through Game of Thrones again without just hard stopping when they get past the books. But there's stuff that happens after the books that I could watch and I'll be like, oh yeah, I like this part. Like, I'll watch this. And then I'm going to be like, this is all garbage. I don't care about this. And then, yeah.
Yeah, completely.
So, oh, here we go. Wayne with the,
Interesting.
I think I remember that.
So for me, season 3 was where it really picked up, and I had to really kind of
grind through.
Yeah, I had to grind through the first 2 seasons. So it paid off for me.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, what's your number 3?
You're on the hook now.
I know.
Don't say crossover. You can't keep taking Reed's picks.
Well,
I took his last time, to be fair.
Well, I mean, I subtly mentioned my love for Clank and Space and anything designed by Paul Dennen. It should just be like its own number and like just a Paul Dennen game. Just find one of his and I can like apply it to so many lists. So I'm not going to talk about Clank in Space. Like we talk about it a lot. The Clank games are incredible. Dune Imperium is amazing as well. But just it was Clank in Space. All right, sure. We're talking about Clank in Space. It's number 3. I can't help it. It was the first. Like I played Marvel Legendary, and like I was like, okay, this does deck building, and the board's there, but you could honestly play without it. I want a deck building that adds extra stuff. And then like I played Clank, I was like, whoa, this is the extra stuff I wanted from a deck builder. I'm moving around and I'm trying to grab stuff and I'm trying to get cards that can help me move, but I also got to get cards that can help me attack stuff along the way. Man, Clank in Space is just so good. And I will admit that like at first, I liked original Clank better because I thought the short game was more viable. I like that you could just get out, grab a super cheap artifact, and then just bounce, and it would be super punishing on anybody else that was left in the game. And so, like, there are some groups that would meta that and do that only, and that's not fun. So Clank in Space fixed that. And you can meander around that ship a little bit. You'll take some damage. You may not die, and you can still get to that pod. Unlike in the first one, there's a set point where there's no, you can't. You got to get back or you're done. So In Space doesn't do that to you. It still does everything great about the original. I like the little hyperdrives that are in there. I like how the board's modular. And yeah, I do like what they added.
Something.
Yes,
Mike.
Yes.
So, okay. Do you know what I'm going to ask you? Do you know what this is referencing right here? This guy here?
No.
Because I had that movie written down as on my list, but I'm not going to talk about it.
There's so many references to sci-fi and space in that game as well.
You know what that's from?
I don't know why I thought of it, but I completely just remembered Fifth Element as a movie.
Yeah, that's Fifth Element. So Reed gets it. That was on my list as potential sci-fi movies. Yeah. You didn't know it, but you were being incepted. And then that's like an alien slave Leia, but like a totally unsexy version.
Nice.
So
there's so many references in that movie. Most of which I don't get.
I've never looked at the back of this box before, apparently.
Great design game, great theme. Okay, so yeah, I wasn't gonna leave it off. Obvious, but we talk about it a lot. Doesn't matter. It's just that good, and that's why.
Fantastic pick. Fantastic.
Okay, my number 3. This is a comedy series, and then it's a throwback, but then they redid it. This is another one they brought back.
So not Red Dwarf.
Mystery Science Theater 3000, The Return.
Yes.
I loved the return of Mystery Science Theater. It's like, oh my God, this is everything I loved about the original, but with modern references and movies that I actually knew a little bit. Like when they ripped to shreds Mac and Me.
Mac and
oh my God. And that's a space movie. So there you go. That was my favorite one of anything they've done. I absolutely love Mystery Science Theater, and the new one did not disappoint me whatsoever. I thought it was some of their best material. Oh my gosh!
It surprisingly like keeps up. There are parts from that Mac and Me episode that I laughed so hard I cried. I mean, like
it's so good.
I thought I was going to throw up. I was laughing so hard, which gives me old school MSD3K vibes.
I love the original, of course. But yeah, the Mac and Me one was so good. Like it is my favorite Mystery Science Theater content they've ever created. Like, man, they did not let me down at all. I love that they were able to take their old format, make it modern, make it relevant, make it hilarious, and use more movies that I was familiar with. So, man, it was one of the first ones I thought of. I absolutely love Mystery Science Theater so much.
That's another one that I completely forgot about. But when it came out, I was eating it all up. Like it was fantastic.
And honestly, the fact that I threw it on this list is specifically tied to, again, the Mac and Me episode. That was just laugh out loud, like Tim said, like hurting in the gut, hilarious moments in that spoof. It was just so funny. That one specifically, like I probably, without that one, I don't know if I would have tried to like sneak it onto this list. But the Mac and Me episode is just so good; it deserves its place.
Next, I got to tell you, I've never watched Riff Tracks. I follow them, I'm aware of them, but I've never watched one because I'm so just in my groove with MST3K. And like Multipass, Fifth Element's so good. I love that movie.
Fifth Element love here. It's a great movie.
Totally underrated. It got so much hate when it first came out. I'm like, this movie is so much fun. I love it. Bruce Willis in his prime, Mila Jovovich, right? You know, in her prime. I believe Jason Priestley's in it, like at the beginning for like 5 minutes. Yeah, you got Chris Tucker, Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, one of my all-time favorite actors. Yeah. See, Mike, I'm sorry, I do this with movies. Like somebody says a movie, and then I'm like, blah, 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 like, who was all in it? Might have been directed by the same French guy that directed The Professional, but I'm not sure. I forget. It was a French guy. No, it wasn't Luc Besson. But it was somebody. It might have been a Luke. I don't remember.
It was somebody.
It definitely was somebody. Somebody directed Fifth Element.
Use the Force, Luke.
Yeah. Just everybody's gonna think I'm buffering, but I'm really just stroking out, trying to remember who directed a movie that nobody cares about. Luke Besson. Oh, I was right.
Luke.
Man.
Luke.
All right, Tim. I gotta get a non-alcoholic drink because I think I'm through my second whiskey. So I'll segue to your two.
Oh my God, Mike, you waited way too long to disappear. Oh, now we get the echo because Mike doesn't have his headphones on. That's where we were getting the echo from before. I'll wait a second. There you go. You got to have your headphones on because we get the echo when you don't have your headphones on.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good, dude. It's all good. No worries.
I forget to mute it.
Reed gets paid by the hour to be here, so he's like, yeah, just Tim
wow.
Buffer, Rob
Dang.
walk away. You know, like
that's incredible. He's getting paid more than
us. So my number 2 was my favorite game of last year. So if anybody remembers what that was from watching the show, Reed obviously knows because he watches the show religiously. Just kidding. No, I don't expect anybody to know this, but Twilight Inscription. I could have had Twilight Imperium on my list because I do love that game. And Twilight Inscription, I do not like roll and rights. I don't. But man, Twilight Inscription just like absolutely nailed it for me. So much fun. 4 huge boards. You're going to choose Hi, Locutus.
Say hi.
You're going to choose what board to activate, and then you're going to just set off a whole chain of combos, especially after turn 2 or 3. They're really going to start get going. And I just think Twilight Inscription is so good. It's so much fun. Tons of replayability because there's a million factions to choose from. They all play differently. You can focus a different board because there's 4 boards. I recommend like finding 2 of them that you like and just work on those 2. The first game I played, I did terribly, but I was like, I'm going to do this on this board. Then I'm going to go over here on this board. I'm going to do this. This is fun. Oh, what's this do? I'm going to go down here on this board. Bad strategy. Terrible strategy. But just really fun. I was really hyped for this game, was hoping that it would be good, and it exceeded my expectations. So Twilight Inscription, I 100% love. And other than Mike, Reed, I think you're surrounded by cat people because Bob's got cats. I've got cats.
I don't own a cat. I like cats.
So yeah, Thor's not down here. He's got one eye and he would act like a scarf. But he's probably up.
He looked up.
It worked. It worked.
Nice.
So Twilight Inscription is my number 2. Now
Twilight Inscription is incredible.
Yes.
And like it was an honorable mention that was going to be a swap into my list if needed, because it gave me, I was late to the whole roll and write thing, and then I played Twilight Inscription and I'm like, what? You can do this with markers and paper? Like what?
There's like 5 roll and writes I love, and Twilight Inscription is the king.
Oh yeah, it's really good. And I've since tried Hadrian's Wall too, and they're both fantastic. I don't even know which one I like the best. Oh my gosh.
I haven't played that one yet, but the space theme, the boards look great. That bright orange marker. That orange marker that you use looks so good. It's so much fun. I love it.
Oh, and how amazing are those dice?
Dude.
The dice are amazing. They're huge and they're translucent.
They're good. They're good. Did Bob just say that he is the, I won't use the P word, the cat whisperer?
Yeah. The Caesar Milan of cats.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You can train them, get them to do tricks. So my number 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is an criminally underrated movie. I would be impressed if anybody watching this has seen it, but not to be all gatekeeper, like, oh, it's really good. You probably never heard of it. But this was a really good movie that came out and got like 0 fanfare. This was before most people knew Kevin Spacey was an asshole, unless you worked with him and then you knew he was an asshole. But he's not actually in this movie. It's just his voice is in this movie. This movie has one actor in it that you see through the whole thing, and he is one of my all-time favorite actors. Are you looking it up, Reed? Are you trying to figure out what it is?
At first I thought it was K-Pax, but I'm like, no, he was in that.
Nope, not K-Pax. Chris Charlwood got it. It's Moon. Moon is so flipping good. Whoops, I'm trying to not highlight that. Moon is so good. Sam Rockwell is stationed on the moon and he just does this job. And Kevin Spacey is the voice of this robot that is like his only companion. And you just have to watch the movie and watch it pan out to see what happens. But there's a twist to Moon that blew me away. I already love Sam Rockwell, but it kind of solidified him as just like an actor that I'm like, this dude, I will watch this dude read shampoo ingredients while sitting on a toilet. I love that man so much. I think he's amazing. I put him up there as one of my all-time favorites. And he's not in like a ton of, I mean, he's in a bunch of stuff, but like dude deserves more than what he gets. Kind of like, I feel the same way about Gary Oldman. You know, everybody knows Gary Oldman's an amazing actor and a chameleon. I feel the same way about Guy Pearce. Talked about him already tonight. Like, I think that dude's an amazing actor.
For me, it's Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep can make even the worst movie watchable.
Well, it is. There's a movie she's going to be in that I'm like, wait, what? She's in it's Is it it's like a comic book movie I thought she was going to be in. And it's like, wait a minute.
Oh,
Meryl Streep's in a comic book movie? Like, what happened?
I mean, we need a Meryl Streep space movie. Kind of get back on theme. I think she needs to. I don't know.
Dude, wait,
An
was
alien
she?
or something? Expand her role. Expand her.
Well, it's going to be hard to top Sigourney Weaver. Like, if you're going to put a female in Alien and try to.
No, I mean,
You know.
be an actual alien.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry. I went left field.
Expand
No,
her repertoire.
No, she's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
you're right, though. She's one of those actresses where you just put her in anything and you're like, oh, it's immediately watchable, at least for her parts. Oh yeah, by the way, she's in Moon. Just kidding. She's not. But no, Moon's amazing.
To go watch it right now.
but Moon was like a real small movie, came out, and I was just I had heard about it because at the time I was doing a movie blog. Like I said before, Men on Film, and don't look any of those up on YouTube. It's terrible. But it was a movie that I just championed and was like, everybody must watch Moon. It's so freaking good. It's just so good. It's just a nice, tense sci-fi kind of like what's going on. And it's amazing. Death Becomes Her. Holy crap. I just watched that again for the first time, not for the first time, but for the first time in like 20 years. Cause I saw Death Becomes Her in the theaters. Cause I'm old, but yeah, fantastic movie. Amazing. So fun. Again, Bruce Willis, keep coming up, right? You got same actors keep coming up.
Of course.
Definitely.
So anyways, Moon is my number 2 all-time favorite. It is one of my absolute favorite science fiction movies of all time. It's fantastic. It doesn't hurt if you like Sam Rockwell, but even if you don't, he's so good in this movie. Whatever. That's all I'm saying.
You gotta send me your list in Messenger or something, just so that I'm not gonna remember all these obscure movie names, and I'm not.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, but
I will.
I want to watch them because
Sure.
I love sci-fi.
Sure.
So please send me that list.
if you can't read this is how much I love Moon and want other people to watch it. If you can't find it on streaming, by Origins, let me know. I will bring you my Blu-ray and you can borrow it and you can give it back to me next year at Origins or at Gen Con. I just want people to see that movie because I love it. And if you don't love it, I'll be like, oh, I'm really sorry I made you watch that movie. But it doesn't have Meryl Streep, but it does have Sam Rockwell.
Amazing.
So anyways, go on, please. You're number 2, sir.
Number 2. All right. So mine is similar to one that has already been talked about. I'll just go right into it. TI4, Twilight Imperium 4.
Yes, it has sort of been mentioned.
You had Twilight Inscription. I've never played Twilight Inscription. I like roll and writes. The chunkiest roll and write I played is Roar and Write, the dinosaur.
I haven't played that one, but I've heard I would like it.
Good. I definitely recommend it. But yeah, Twilight Inscription, I gotta check out. But nothing quite beats just moving those little plastic ships around and getting a War Sun and getting obliterated, and it's great.
Mechatol Rex, you got to go for Mechatol Rex. Oh my! Listen, I could have had Twilight Imperium on my list, but I went with Inscription, same universe, right? Literally, right? But yes, fantastic pick. What a great game! Yeah. What a great game!
I think what really does it for me are the policy cards that you choose, or I don't know if they're called policy cards. Those 8 things that you can do during your turn. And I think the trick is to play it with like 3, 5, 6, or 7 players. Maybe 7's a little too much. 3, 5, or 6, and make sure that you're not having all policy cards in play, because then it gets real interesting. And the choices matter even more. But yeah, I guess I could just rewatch the video. That's a good point.
You don't Reed. I'll just text you. I could just text you. It's easy.
But yeah, TI4, those policy. I go tech all day, every day.
I love games with tech trees and adding stuff and you know, like I kind of look at Lords of Waterdeep adding buildings to the board as that version of that game's tech tree. Like, so yes, in Twilight Imperium, I am all about the tech tree. When I play Civilization, I'm all about the tech. Like, let me just have the best tech.
Yeah.
Like, I just want it. So I get it. It's awesome.
It's great. Going on to media. So you knew it was coming. The Star Wars universe.
Yes.
Here we go.
Nice.
So I mean, I don't love it all, but there's so much of it that I love.
Well, you don't have to though. There's so many good things in there.
So much. So I guess my call outs, Andor was incredible. There you go. Love it.
Andor was incredible.
Amazing. I love The Mandalorian, the original trilogy, Rogue One, Star Wars Rebels, amazing. Can't wait for Ahsoka.
Ahsoka's the bomb.
Yeah.
Also, what's her name? I absolutely love her too.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Yes. She's incredible. I love her.
Yeah, and Andor, I mean, Andor is another one where you kind of, for me, I found I kind of had to like drudge through it until it paid off, but the payoff was so big that it
when it gets when it gets good,
the payoff is just so big that it's like it doesn't even matter. Like at this point, it's like you've sold me. This is an amazing show.
Here's the thing, Reed, is I liked Rogue One fine when I saw it in theaters. Like I'm like, okay, cool. But I didn't think Andor was that cool. Like I didn't really care about Cassian Andor that much. I actually liked K9, the Alan Tudyk.
K2SO, yeah.
K2SO. And then
I know
obviously
all the Star Wars characters, by the way, if you ever want to quiz me.
Well, I mean, I'm down with Max Rebo as well, but I thought, you know, like Churu and Baze were cool. You know, everybody liked those, but I also thought they kind of like Saw Gerrera was almost kind of wasted. Like I didn't, and it wasn't on Forrest Whitaker. It was just that I don't know. I just wasn't excited about how that all worked out in the movie. So I kind of over time grew cold on Rogue One. But then when Andor came out, I'm like, well, I'm going to watch it because it's Star Wars. That's just me. And I thought the way that Andor to beginning was not even that boring to me. Like I really was like, okay, like I'm into this character. And then as it gets going, and then you've got some of the parallel storylines, right, that are running. And then again, the payoff, you get Andy Serkis in there. Again, I'll watch that dude in anything.
Oh yeah, that was the biggest payoff for me.
You know, that whole, you know, couple episodes.
Too much into spoilers, but yeah, the Andy Serkis bit, best.
Yeah,
like,
just
like
incredible.
Best episodes I've seen on TV.
Just incredible, and just really like, really, you just anything that where you're like, oh, what are they gonna do? Like, where's this character gonna go?
Wayne, 100% agree. Those are my two favorites as well. Chirrut and Baze were the best.
Yeah.
So I will say I have also started and stopped series, and Andor is one that has started too slow for me, and I have stopped it more than once. I want to finish it.
Continue. It's worth it.
It's worth it. Like
what I hear.
You've got to continue it. It's maybe
what I hear.
Best episode or like best seasons of anything on TV. It's so good.
I am good, Trevor. Thank you for asking, Mr. Doopy. Wow.
Yeah, Dan and I actually were riding together in a car to film, and we were talking about that torture scene in Andor. Like it's just any show that gets you talking with other people and you're like, can you believe that? Like that was one of the most horrifying things, you know what I mean? Where it just affects you and you're like, how do they top that? Like, what do you do?
Oh yeah. I mean, Dune is the slowest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'm sorry.
Listen, Mike, here's the thing. Dune is dry. Get it? No, Dune is really dry, but the payoffs on Dune, trust me, the payoffs on Dune are gonna be so good.
I'll try
They're gonna be
again
so
with
good.
that one. Yeah, I like
Just-
40 minutes in. Just unfortunately, just nothing there for
Hold
me.
on. Just watch the batshit crazy Dennis or David Lynch version from the 80s with Sting and I can't think of his name now, but he was in Twin Peaks. He was the main investigator. Kyle MacLachlan from Twin Peaks. And it's got a ton of people you'll recognize from. You'll be like, oh, I saw that guy in something else. But anyways, that movie is nuts. It will give you a brief overview of Dune, and then you can watch the Denis Villeneuve version, and you'll be like, okay, I can like sit back and relax.
I mean, I want to learn about this universe because I love the game, but like I couldn't get into that movie. I struggled.
Listen, David Lynch is going to introduce you to heart plugs, and it's amazing.
Okay, so I've kind of had to move some things around a little bit because we spoiled my number one with Dune
Chris.
Imperium. Like that was originally my number one. And so I'll make a new number one. And my second favorite space game of all time is Cosmic Encounter.
Oh, nice.
I love bluffing and I love creating these alliances and then backstabbing people and then just the how unpredictable that negotiation phase can be, and then somebody throws that. Oh my gosh, yeah, I've just had. It's been years since I've played though. That's the only problem. It has been so long.
Mike,
Tim, I beg that we get a game of this soon.
Mike, I think we just need to take this to Origins and play it with people.
A Cosmic Encounter game at Origins, that would go over, I think, pretty well, actually.
Because I would love to just go nuts with a game like that. Because I, like you, Mike. Mike's a salesman. I work in sales too. I'm a store manager. I love the wheeling and dealing, like social aspect of games like that. I love messing with people and just trying to figure things out.
I totally get why some people don't like it. I just there's a social aspect of games that I really love, and trying to get people to trust you during a game is a very fun social experiment to me in any game.
So Mike and Bob will attest to this. Bob and I have this same problem. And Dan will also attest to this because he is part of the problem. Is immediately playing any games like this, Dan and other people are like, don't trust him. Don't trust him. No matter what. Do not trust him. I get it. I come off as a snake oil salesman. Whatever. I don't care. These games are great. And Bob has the same problem. It's why he doesn't like Werewolf. Don't trust Bob. Listen, in real life, trust Bob. In real life, trust me. I'll do right by you.
It is true. A lot of social games are very group dependent. 100%.
Yes. Yes. But we try to play, honestly, though, right? Like, and Mike can attest to this, with our local groups and our meetups and stuff, we really just try to cater the games we play. If I've never met Reed and Reed shows up and is like, hey, I want to play a game. I'm like, well, what kind of stuff do you like? Like, I'm going to cater the game we play to the person that sits down to that table. Right. So if Reed's like, oh, I don't like a lot of interaction, we're not playing Cosmic Encounter. You know?
I mean, I would never say that, but yes, I understand your example.
But you know what I mean? I use you as an example because you're there. But you know, you get the point, right? Like, so yes, games can be very group dependent. There's games that I will never play with my wife because I don't want her to hate hanging out and playing that game. Now we make Dan play games he hates all the time, so that doesn't count. That's the exception of the rule. But honestly, though, most of the time in a group, I'm going to try to play games with people that I like, but I also know that they like. And I like enough games that I'm going to find some common ground there. But Cosmic Encounter is totally group dependent, but when you've got the right group, is a freaking fantastic experience and so much fun. So good.
Yeah, it does. It does allow ties, but a lot of times it's like you can win as a team. And I'm kind of okay with that. In fact, I like to pick my alliances very early. And typically, if people stick to that alliance, I can guarantee a win as a team. But, you got to find somebody willing to stick to that alliance. Somebody could screw you in the very end and take the win themselves. That's possible.
Listen, Jason, this is the greatest snake oil. Nobody's ever had snake oil like this before. It's from Brazil. When people see it, they've never cried in their whole lives, but they cry when they see this snake oil. You're going to want it. You're going to weep openly when you get this snake oil. And I just have it for you and you only. So
I need to
there we go.
play that game, by the way. Trying to pitch something real fast. Yes.
Snake oil?
I've never played snake oil.
It's stupid fun. My niece had it and wanted to play it at like a family event, and we had a hilariously awkward thing come up where she didn't realize what the combination of things was awkward because it was adult themed, and everybody else at the table just fell out of their chairs laughing. And she's like, and I felt so bad for her because she didn't know. But anyways, we all were like, you got to get it because it was hilarious. And yes, snake oil is huge. It's huge.
Okay. My number 2 is a crossover because it's Star Wars. I'm kind of very specific about this.
Drill into this, Mike. Drill into this.
All right.
I want to see the comments.
I know. So you have to understand where I'm coming from. I did not get into Star Wars when I was a kid. I'm sorry, I didn't. I was born in 80. When by the time the second one came around, I was so young that I watched it and had like R2-D2 toys, but like I wasn't into the story. I was too young.
I think I had a Jabba the Hutt birthday cake for my 4th or 5th birthday. Just saying.
So it was not something I watched at all into my teens. I didn't watch the prequels in my 20s. Mm-hmm. And then I had to help raise a young boy, and that young boy got me into Star Wars. And you know what he used to get me into the Star Wars? What got him into Star Wars, which was the prequels. Okay, now I know and I get one, not that good. It has totally pointless stuff going on. It did introduce Darth Maul, and that's something. But otherwise, pod racing, all right, fun, pointless. 2, maybe the worst one out of all of them, and I get that because the courting of Padme and Anakin is cringy at best.
Oh yeah,
but
I still like 2 more than 1.
But
I'm just gonna say,
yeah, same here.
I absolutely love Revenge of the Sith, number 3. You have very minimal of the Padme and Anakin courting. It's in there, but it's like kind of an established thing. It's an established thing by now. We're past his takes on sand. And now we're just to, the battle between Anakin and going to the dark side or not. And I'm sorry, but some of the best lightsaber scenes in the entire Star Wars universe happen in this movie. You've got Count Dooku, you've got that one, you've got the one with General Grievous, you've got the one with Obi-Wan and Anakin
awesome.
at the end.
Yeah.
Grievous is freaking amazing. I love General Grievous.
I do too.
I'm
here for it.
I've watched 3 more than any of the other Star Wars movies combined. I've watched this one so many times. The opening
of 3 is a banger. I'm just gonna say the opening of episode 3 is a banger where they've got like they're flying in and they're trying to get to that capital ship so they can rescue Palpatine. That's awesome.
And so like the originals are incredible and I love them. 3's my favorite, or sorry, 5's my favorite, but I think you get you get a lot of people that just say that the all of the prequels get lumped together and none of them are any good. And I'm just telling you, there's a generation of Star Wars fans that exist because of the prequels. So you have to give them at least some respect. And I just love 3 so much. Like the way everything gets tied up at the end of that and creates the basis for the story that you guys have loved for like 50 years now. I'm sorry. I think it ties it up extremely well. I love the way Anakin morphs into Darth Vader. I love that movie so much.
Listen,
3 is great to me.
That movie, I will not dismiss the prequels. I have always said that the prequels would make a great 4-hour movie. Like, edit the amazing things out of the prequels for me.
Totally fair.
And honestly, the worst thing for me about the prequels is that George Lucas, untethered, is his own worst enemy. He always works better under restrictions, having other people come in and help him tighten up the writing and tighten up the directing. He is an idea man, but he needs great people around him to help. And that's why the original Star Wars trilogy is so good and works, is because you have people like Irvin Kershner, like, around him, you know what I mean, to help out with Strikes Back. You had Spielberg, you know what I mean, like helping out and guiding. So the prequels, it's like, well, I get to do whatever I want, and he did whatever he wanted, and there's a ton of really great stuff in there. I will never take that away. But Darth Vader going, no, is like one of the dumbest freaking things I've ever seen in my life. Chewbacca doing the Tarzan roar, or whatever Wookiee that was during episode 3 was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Like, look, we don't need like greatest hits of Star Wars characters. I don't need to know that Chewbacca was at the Battle of Kashyyyk. I'm just saying. Like, it's enough that there's other Wookiees there. But I don't need to know that Yoda and Chewbacca like high-fived each other and then went their separate ways. Do not need that. But
that seemed kind of like fan servicey for the point of fan service and not really doing anything with the story. But yeah, episode 3 had the whole Order 66 thing, which was awesome. I think episode 1 is probably some of Star Wars' best comedy, and I love it just for that. Like, I love how much people hate Jar Jar Binks. Like, that makes me love him more.
Right, fair.
Like, the fact that there's that many people that feel that passionately about Jar Jar Binks, I'm like, okay, well, he had an impact.
It was, you know what though? It's still an entertaining movie. Like, it's fun to watch. Like, when you watch it, you're like, if you're just watching this for this one movie without its context, you're like, this is entertaining. Yeah. You know, but it's just, the expectation. You know, I get it. You waited so long for like these new movies to come out, and that's what you get. You know, you're like, okay, I get some of that disappointment.
I mean, I think I loved them when they came out, to be honest. Like, I think probably, if anything, maybe popular opinion has shaped a little bit kind of my perception of it. Because when I saw episode 1, episode 2, well, maybe 2 and 3, I did the midnight showing. Everyone was dressed up. It was an experience. So I loved it. Episode 2 especially. I loved the whole that scene in the arena where the Jedi were popping out their lightsabers.
Oh yeah, with so many lightsabers all at the same place, and you're like, "What is happening?" Yeah, I get it. Well, Mace Windu cuts off Jango Fett's head. You're like, "What?"
Yeah. Seriously. And so, like, I even like rewatched these to like, is it really that I like 3 so much? And yeah, it is. I rewatched a whole bunch of them ever since you said you want to do space movies. I'm like, I really got to figure out which one is my favorite. But like, I just watched that one so much more than the others. And again, it's because of a kid that was his favorite. So that's the one we watched all the time. But because of those, I absolutely love The Mandalorian. Like, season 3 was so good. So good. I really like the way they wrapped that one up.
Let me just address Jason's comment. Fun fact, they were both played by Ian McDermott. So maybe that's why you saw a similarity. I'm not going to say anything else. I don't want to ruin anything.
Oh no,
There you go.
I can't get the bottom. And snacks. There you go.
There
And
you
snacks. Okay, but I want to ask you guys, and we'll go trilogy by trilogy. So Mike's favorite of the prequels is obviously Revenge of the Sith. Reed, what's your preferred one? You're gonna watch Attack of the Clones?
Attack of the Clones, yeah.
I'm probably watching Revenge of the Sith, even though it has some cringy moments, but I love Grievous so much. I love and Obi-Wan. Like I feel like Obi-Wan and Grievous. Oh, hello there. You know, like I just love.
Yeah.
I love Ewan McGregor. I love him so much. Okay.
The prequels spawned the best memes on the internet, so you can't.
Also true. You can't be mad at that. Okay, so
that is very true.
So original trilogy, Mike, what's your favorite episode? You said Jedi,
5.
right? Return of the Jedi? Oh no, Empire? Empire's your
yes,
favorite?
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, I just like meeting Lando and just the sense of adventure in that one and escaping and all that. I just I like a lot more Boba Fett. Just the bevy of characters they have mixed into that one. I think just makes it truly epic.
How about you, Reed?
I think 5 is the normal pick, but I'm Return of the Jedi. I think like the Ewoks were super cute. Love what was happening in Jabba's palace. How there's like Lando like had that helmet on, like no one recognized him, and was it Boosh? Leia?
Bosch.
Leia dressed up as a bounty hunter. Like it was so cool. I thought.
Well, and it had your boy Max Rebo in there, so you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And C-3PO being the Ewok god, that was hilarious.
Yeah, so I really loved Jedi until they did the remastered versions and they put in the song and dance number with Cy Snoodles. See, I can also name obscure Star Wars characters.
I'm mostly prequel obscure characters. So like I know Yoda Bead, Aura Singh, Ben Quadraneros, like
yeah, I'm down. But I mean, I think I'm just depending on the day you ask me today, I'm going to say Empire, but I vacillate between A New Hope and Empire because Obi-Wan is probably my favorite Star Wars character. I love Obi-Wan and what he does. And my love for Obi-Wan got enhanced because of the prequels, because it's like, oh, there's this actor I'm already in the bag for because I loved Train Spotting so much. And it's like, oh, Ewan McGregor is going to be in a Star Wars movie. Like, how's this going to work? But so I was already down, you know, I was already there.
Yeah, he's great in the prequels.
He is. He's never the problem. I'll just say that he is never the problem. But Empire is just so good for everything that it does. It has that epic lightsaber battle at Cloud City. You are introduced to Lando and all the other bounty hunters, right? IG-88 and Bosk and
Dengar.
Dengar, all up in the bandages and stuff. Yes. Forlom. Yep. Nice work. Nice. Zuckuss. Forlom and Zuckuss. Yeah, because they're a team together.
Well, Bug with the robot body and Bug with a bug body, I guess.
But yeah. Yep. I had those books. I had the Tales of the Bounty Hunters books that I read. I think they were written by Timothy Zahn.
Nice.
So Empire, though, is my sort of default. Again, I also love Yoda. Who doesn't love Yoda? Everybody loved Yoda when he came out.
I want to say the other thing that's great about the prequels is you get badass Yoda. Like Yoda is awesome in all of the prequels, and I love like when you watch the old ones and then you see what Yoda used to be. You're like, what? I love Yoda.
There was a whole campaign for that. I remember when the DVD came out for Attack of the Clones, where it's like, Huda Man, Yoda Man, and then it's
Yoda Man.
It's the worst thing.
Nice.
I do. Here's my problem with Attack of the Clones. I wish they would have developed Dooku more as a villain because Christopher Lee is underserved by that series. You have an amazing actor, a generational talent, and relegate him to sort of like a side character that is supposed to be super important, but then gets like totally shelved. They killed a dozen Tauntauns making Empire. Yeah, so there's that dark shadow.
I think these are not the droids that Chris is looking for.
Yeah. Move along. Move along. But okay, so out of the new trilogy, what's your favorite one?
7.
Yeah, I have to agree with Dan that it's The Force Awakens. I thought they started strong and they got slightly less good, but I don't know.
The train derailed and then it got back on the tracks, but at that point it had lost half the half of the cars.
So, all right, I'm gonna be the controversial. I'll take Last Jedi. I will take Last Jedi. I love Rian Johnson. I love grumpy Luke. But now don't get me wrong. Last Jedi's got its problems. That whole casino thing is pointless.
But that's what I like the best about it.
but that battle at the end, with that salt planet with like the visuals, like Rian Johnson, that dude can construct visuals. The Hodo maneuver, I love that. Like that was one of the most amazing scenes I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. That 3 seconds, it blew me. I was like, what's happening? Holy crap. It looked so good visually. I love in the first 5 minutes, you've got Poe Dameron like screwing with the Empire where he's like, what? Excuse me? And they're like, you know what I mean? And it's like a bad phone connection joke. I don't care. I loved it. I thought it was great because I think Oscar Isaac is amazing. I don't have a problem with Rose Tico. I don't love how like she just kind of saved Finn at the end because I was like, oh, I don't know. I didn't love that. But that throne room with Snoke, even though they totally waste Snoke and don't do nearly enough with Snoke.
They didn't develop him enough either.
That throne room battle though with Kylo and Rey. Like there is a clip somewhere on YouTube of that whole battle with the Queen "Don't Stop Me Now" song playing over it, and it is my favorite thing in the world.
Nice. Like maybe they didn't give Snoke more backstory just so he could have his own show on Disney Plus.
Seriously,
like,
but I think
wonder. Like why didn't they develop him at all? He had a
I love Daisy Ridley. I think she was underserved. I think that she deserves more. They should have done more with her. But anyway, so I'll go Last Jedi with my favorite, even though honestly, the 7 is really good. I like 7 a lot. I think it's really good. It makes me sad with Han, but
I mean, they should have just gone like, if you're going to go Rian Johnson, just have him do the trilogy or have, what's his?
JJ Abrams.
Have JJ Abrams do the trilogy. Like,
yeah,
I
don't
felt like it was so discombobulated, and I liked a lot of the things that Ryan did, which were I liked that Rey was a nobody.
Yes,
I think that they should have just stuck with that because I liked that. The thing I liked about the casino scene was the liberating the animals scene. That was the best thing for me.
I'm with you for that, but I mean. The problem is that they made it so that whole thing was pointless. It was like, we're just going to get these characters on this ship for this thing.
Well, everything they did with the new characters was pointless, and that's what I hated about it was that they all completely like destroyed any chance that Good had to do anything because all of the new characters, so like Poe, Finn, Rey didn't really do anything. I mean, Rey did more than anybody else, but most of them like retracted the story, and they
continued to waste Phasma. Like, really, you have this amazing actress as Phasma, and you waste her.
Yeah, she was great.
That was disappointing. It was disappointing.
And then, like, okay, now the entire Rebel Walls, what's it called?
The Resistance.
Now the entire Resistance is like 10 people. Like that was kind of ridiculous.
and Yeah, Wayne, I though agree. I really wanted Rey to be, if she was going to be anybody, I wanted her to be a Kenobi. Like that's who she should have been.
I mean, that would have been cooler, I think. But yeah, I would have just preferred her to be a nobody and have that. Like, not everything needs to be blood, you know? Like,
right. Yeah. Yeah. They also needed to they needed to just make that decision.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't always have to be this or that. Right. But all right.
Dan's thinking he needs to give us a stern talk, but I already admitted from the jump that, you know, my opinion on some of these things is not, you know, whatever. Anyway, we 20 minutes on Star Wars. I think we're pretty good. I know. I mean, you know, yeah, it had to be done.
Okay.
No shame. No shame. So, Tim, we're back to you for your number one space game and movie and or TV show.
Okay, so I'm going to jump right into my number one. It is the most sandboxy space game that I've ever played. It is it is the best sandbox game.
Has the best coins ever.
It does have the best coins ever. It is the reason that Outer Rim will never be on my Star Wars list, and that is because Zaya Legend of a Drift System is my favorite space game so much. Maybe Star Wars Rebellion, but I left it off the list because it's, you know, I knew other people would have it on there. But Zaya Legend of a Drift System, it is a true sandbox game, asymmetric ships. You can be a pirate. Basically, you can do all pick up and deliver. You can go around and collect bounties on the person being a pirate. There's the fun of jumping blindly into another system and the chance that it's a sun and you get destroyed. I don't care. That game's a ton of fun. You can change the length of the game by how many victory points you're playing to or fame points you're playing to. So if you want to have a longer, more epic game, because that's what everybody's down for, well, shoot, play to 20. You just want to kind of get like a taste of it and like have some fun, play to like 10. And you can bang that game out pretty quick. But the way that the ships have their the way that you can store your items on the ship, your weapons and everything, and they've got to be able to fit. So good. The expansions I play with, I do like the meteor or the comet one. I think that expansion's really good for it. I do have the sellsword expansion because I have a Kickstarter version.
Which one, rub it in, which one gives you the variable market is the one that, because I played with a group where like we just want to keep running the shortest trade route, and that was just the obvious thing to do. There was one that changed the price of goods when you turn them in.
That's the I forget the name of the expansion right now, because I also threw out the box and put it all in one box, so it's all just one box over there. But I basically just kind of play with everything that is out for it, because if you're gonna, it's sort of like how Reed likes to design a game where if you're gonna add an expansion to it, don't make a ton of new rules. It's just like, oh, this is how this thing plays. You now know, how everything else works. This is just part of it. Embers, Fallen Embers.
Embers of a Forsaken Star and Missions and Powers. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That was the first one which I think specifically addressed that strategy. So
yeah. And again, when we played it early on and somebody was just rushing the trade routes, everybody else just turned pirate and started blowing their ship up and getting points for that.
That's a good idea.
Dude, I mean, seriously, it's like, well, if you're just going to do that, like, we're just all turn against you.
I haven't played this in so long. Man, I need to play this again.
I've never played this. I want to play it at some point.
Oh yeah.
It looks super good.
It's beautiful. It's really fun. Once
it's
you
a
get
sandbox.
The rules, yeah, it's a true sandbox. And there's
with some pick up and deliver for points.
You've got to be okay with the randomness, because you're going to have missions for systems that you haven't seen yet. And so then do you ditch those missions for the ones that you can obviously complete, or do you just keep exploring to try to make those systems proc? You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I love it. I think it's great. It's one of my all-time favorite games.
It is really cool if you have not played it. It's got really nice ships. It's got incredible gold. Just the metal coins in this game are just top notch. But yeah, just this sandbox where you can kill other guys, or you can run routes, or you just pick what you want to do. It's a ton of fun. It's been so long.
Jason, if you're going to show up to a con and you want to play a game, let me know. Well,
what just
weird.
happened here? That is a weird layout. What the heck?
If you put your head like this.
My bad. I'll pour another.
I think Mike was trying to catch my best side, which is this.
Which is Reed.
I'm much better.
Face off there. It's like
I'm much better looking like this.
This thing has so many layouts. There's like 6 of them to choose from. I clicked 8 of them. I picked the wrong one. Good pick. I knew you'd throw Zaya on the list. I wasn't sure it'd be your one. I honestly, even though it's obvious, I expected Star Wars Rebellion to be your one, but Zaya is so good.
Rebellion. If we were doing like these are my absolute favorites, Rebellion would be my one. But we talk about it all the time. I know we also talk about Zaya, but like now I really talk about Zaya.
It's been years since I've played this game. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna look. My last play is 2015. 8 years now.
Good Lord. All right. So Mike, my number one on media was going to be, but I changed it. MST3K. Mystery Science Theater 3000 was going to be my number one.
I'm proud of that. You know what?
Satellite of Love. It's a dog boat in space. Started by Joel Hodgson. Out of Minnesota, public access, all those good things. I still quote MST3K episodes almost daily to very confused people all the time because they don't know what I'm talking about. I quote Mitchell, a hilarious one, especially once we had who we did in office was Pod People, because there's this boy that befriends this little alien that kind of looks like Alf that they call Trumpy. And he's like, "Oh, Trumpy, you can do stupid things." And I said that so many times over the course of like 4 years. It was amazing. It was very good. Nobody ever got the reference, but I got it, and it made me feel good. But no, MST3K is not my number one now, even though I absolutely love it. I have several VHSs, DVDs. I think I have VHSs recorded of both Mike Nelson and Joel because so much of that show was so formative to me. But something that was science fiction that was even more formative, even funnier, and I still quote it all the time and absolutely love it. And that is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by the late, great Douglas Adams. Oh my God. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yes.
I own the BBC show from like 1980, where the soundtrack is actually a song that the Eagles gave them, which was just an instrumental song on like a B cut on one of their albums. It's like Here Comes the Wizard. It's an amazing guitar. I love that song. I will always love that song. I love the BBC show. I enjoyed the movie. I don't care. Give me the movie. Again, Sam Rockwell again. Let's go.
Yeah.
As Zaphod Beeblebrox. But yeah, man, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Restaurant at the End of the Universe, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. Like, give me everything Douglas Adams all the time. Just some of the funniest stuff like you could ever find. Mike, in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, do you know how you fly? This is
It's
the
been
most
so
brilliant.
long, Tim. I don't remember. I
this is the
did
most
read that
brilliant
book
thing.
series.
You throw yourself at the ground and you miss. That's how you fly. It's the funniest damn thing to me. I don't know why. It just hits me, right? Like how you defeat the bug bladder beast of Trowel is you wrap a towel around your head because it thinks if you can't see it, that it can't see you. If you're going to drink a Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, it's like having a golden brick wrapped in something and like thrown through your skull. I love this movie. I love the humor. I love everything about it. I love like God ceases to exist because they prove he exists. and because God can only exist based on faith. Once they prove that he exists, he then disappears in a poof of logic. I mean, there's just so many amazing things. It is so brilliant. It is so well written, and it's the best. I know listening to me talk about this is like listening to Vogue and poetry. I understand that, but holy shit, I just absolutely love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's one of my all-time favorite things in any iteration of all time.
So the books are amazing, but it's been like 25 years since I've seen them. And the movie just disappointed me incredibly. And it appears that you can watch the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy TV series on Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, there you go.
I will do that because I was really let down by the movie. Like,
I've got it on DVD.
I love the book.
I've got it on DVD. It's a 2-disc set.
I've never seen it. I didn't even know it existed.
I grew up with that. I mean, yeah, that BBC show was great. Again,
oh my gosh!
The movie was a bit underwhelming for me too, but I mean, it's so well written. It was hilarious. I mean, it's definitely a great pick.
All right, I mean,
I love those books.
When MST3K came off the list, and it's like I just flip flopped that in Hitchhikers because like
there you go.
I thought you were going Spaceballs when you said when you started talking about how funny it was. I thought you were going Spaceballs.
Oh, listen, Reed, wow. I love Spaceballs. I love Spaceballs, but Hitchhikers just hits in a whole different level for me because Spaceballs is so good because it's the perfect like spoof, but like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is so like sardonic and it just spoofs real. It spoofs real life. You know what I mean? Like so much, you know, like man's greatest invention was a digital watch, you know, and, you know, the apes came down from the trees and everybody agreed that that was a bad decision. You know, like there's just so many things like that I just absolutely love. Yeah, I could go on and on and on and already have about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. One of my first cosplays for a Comic-Con, they had like a zombie theme. So I went as Arthur Dent, but as a zombie. So I wore a bathrobe. I had a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy copy of the book in like my robe pocket with a towel over my shoulder and then in zombie makeup and nobody got it. And I was like, screw you guys. I don't care. I know my shit's on point and I know I'm good. So
that's great.
I have to watch this TV series now. I love the book.
I almost want to go back and watch it now again because I really enjoyed that.
Discovering this is on Prime Video, this is my big takeaway for tonight.
And if somebody needs it, I can loan them my DVD box set of it. It's 2 discs or 3 discs or something.
You know what else is on Prime Video?
What is?
My number one.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay, so in that event, what are your number ones?
I'm gonna go media first.
Okay.
It's kind of a repeat. The Expanse.
Oh, perfect. It's totally on Prime.
It's on Prime. At least here it's on Prime. I assume I think it was produced by Prime in the last.
I think the last season or two was done by Prime exclusively.
Yeah, it was consistently. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did struggle sometimes because it was a bit of a brain burner, but the story was so deep. The space politics was amazing. I mean, Christian, the UN kind of politician, like so well acted, and such a great character, and just like so nuanced. But yeah, I feel like there were enough characters that you were rooting for in The Expanse, and it wasn't linear. I think what I love most about it is because it's kind of like an RPG TV show. It takes place with these 4 characters, and they're bouncing around with all of these different kind of political groups and kind of just like investigating almost who's behind certain events, and it's just so cool.
it appears that it originally was a sci-fi show, but was a later acquired by Amazon, and then they made 3 more seasons.
Yeah, exactly. And it didn't peter off. Like towards the end, it was still strong. It was still they moved the storyline along. I can't say enough good things about The Expanse. Also filmed in Toronto, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But that's not why I love it. I didn't know that until after I loved it.
Wow.
Yeah, so good.
I don't know a whole lot about this one, quite frankly.
It's just really like the character development is just amazing. It's not something you want to watch late at night or if you've had too much whiskey, but so
Fair. There you go. Bob agrees with you. He likes it.
Mhm.
And it's on Prime Video, and I've already got another reason to go to Prime Video. So
there you go.
nice.
Yeah, it's something I would just say don't give up on it because it's something where I've kind of given up at certain points and then I picked it up and it's another one where the payoff is totally worth it.
Nice.
So that's my media. That's my number one.
Okay.
Have you seen The Expanse?
About The Expanse is that oh wait, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I switched mics. The Expanse, season 1, Thomas Jane, underrated actor, totally amazing. And then a bunch of people that I haven't seen in anything else, but are all incredible. Like that one dude that's like weirdly loyal, but like a total badass, but kind of a psychopath. Amazing character. So yeah, the Expanse is filled with great twists. I'm, like I said, still kind of working my way through season 2 because there's some interesting stuff with like some of the politics in there.
Yeah.
But not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Sometimes it's like, oh, shiny, like a new show comes out, and then I stop watching The Expanse and go watch the new thing that just came out, and then it's like, oh, I need to go back and watch that. But yeah, wonderful pick. Wow, what a fantastic pick. Really good.
And then we go on to my board game. So I did
Let's do it.
The reverse. So my number one has not been talked about yet. Eclipse: Second Dawn for the Galaxy.
Oh, I wish I played this.
Oh,
yeah,
it is
never played it.
So good. The game trays makes setup so easy. It's like you can play it in 2-3 hours. It still gives you that feeling of Twilight Imperium. What I think is really good about it is I like the kind of the income system, how that builds throughout the game. I like the so like by income, of course, it's like science, money. I'm trying to remember. There's 3 of them. I mean, you're just basically pulling the cubes off of the game trays thing, and every time you put a cube down on a planet, or your income goes up. So you can every turn is more meaningful. I like games that progress, and then the idea of like customizing your spaceship is just super cool. There's so many like technologies. Yeah. It's just fantastic.
So I'm gonna steal Tim's thunder because I've heard him say this before. I think we've both only played the app, and it was kind of hard to learn from the app. There's kind of a bit going on. I've wanted to play this for so long that I thought the app would like, be like, hey, you've learned it now, and no, not quite.
Not really. Not really.
We all really need to play this one.
Is probably really good if you already know how to play.
One of our other contributors, Andrew, owns this, and I know he'd love it if we all played Eclipse. So I would love to play this game.
You gotta do it. I mean, it won't disappoint. It's just so.
Because I will tell you, like for example, I know one of Tim's favorite games. We talked about it last week. Is Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and this is 4X except space instead of fantasy. So Yeah, everything about this one looks great.
Yeah, I was looking for good light space games to put on my list, but I think Space Base made it the furthest up, and at number 10 maybe. There's not a lot of good light space games that I've played.
Yeah, I don't love Space Base. It's fine. I'm in the minority. I'd rather play Machi Coral than Space Base, but
yeah,
yeah. But I get it.
I agree with that. For me,
but I get it. People love Space Base. For me, Space Base sort of overstays its welcome. But I totally expected it to be on a list, so it's probably Mike's number one. Just kidding.
Space Base? No.
Yeah.
We spent all this time insulting it. No, number one.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great game, right, Reed? It's like our
it's actually pretty good for me. I wanted to on my list, and I was struggling, so I think it moved up a few notches higher than it probably should have been. But
all right, so I know Bob and Dan will appreciate my pick. These guys have this game rated pretty high. It is out of print currently. Unfortunately, I don't own it because I missed my chance. I didn't back it. I missed my chance to get it at Gen Con. This game is so good. I've just demanded that Bob plays that, like, brings this game every time we have a meetup or a bunch of people, and that is Planet Unknown. I absolutely love this game. It's a really good polyomino puzzle one. So you've got that, a great polyomino puzzle. You've got a lazy Susan with all the pieces, so you can play simultaneously. Really? Simultaneous play with 6 players that you can play in an hour or less with Teach. Tell me some games that do that are not party games, not that many. So one, you've got this great polyomino puzzle. On top of that, you're working up tracks the entire game. Like the Euro gamer and me just goes, oh my God, tracks! And just polyominoes plus space, plus simultaneous plays, plus supporting 6, plays in an hour, tracks, combos, just it's got everything I want in a game. Planet Unknown is so freaking good. I hope they reprint it this year. Actually, I think it's confirmed they are. They're going to offer an expansion, and so you can get the expansion, or you can get the reprint plus the expansion. I'm all in for that. Planet Unknown is fantastic. I can't wait to play it again. I can't wait to have my own copy. I cannot stop talking about Planet Unknown.
It's good. I'm not as insane about it as you guys are, but I think it's good.
It's so good. Yeah. Have you played that one?
I like simultaneous play. I mean, it sounds good.
It's like one person spins the thing how they want. They pick a piece, and as soon as they pick, everybody knows where they get to pick from, and everybody places their thing. It's got 2 colors. You're going to move up 2 tracks, and those tracks are going to trigger stuff. It's great, but also every planet board there's a basic one that you play your first game, but then there's like 16 different planets you can play, and all of those force you into a slightly different strategy. But then what they call, I can't remember what it's called, corporation board, the track board that I'm talking about, there's asymmetric of those too, and there's 16 different of those too. So you got how many combinations there? I don't know. I haven't played them all. I've played like 6 or 7 times. I feel like every time I get a different track and planet combination, I'm trying a totally different strategy. And I can't stop wanting to play Planet Unknown. I demand that Bob brings it every time. Neighbor goals, like you said, you put like, what's the other one you guys talk up a lot? The Secret of Castles of that one. You guys talk about neighbor goals where you put a card in between 2. There you go. Hey, us two are competing for this, but me and my neighbor to my right are competing for this. I think that's a cool way to also put experienced gamers on one side of the table and people that haven't played on the other. So it's got a little handicap because of that.
Neighbor goals, werebeasts.
I can't tell what that is.
Werebeasts.
Oh, the new. Oh, okay, nice.
It's old. I mean, it's not old, but it's just nobody knows about it, and it's actually a pretty great shared goal game.
I haven't heard of that one. All right.
Yeah, so I love Planet Unknown. It was the first one I thought of. I need a copy so bad. I hope, I haven't looked, if Adam's Apple is going to be at Origins. I don't know if they still have copies of this game. I would assume not, because if you look on eBay, you can't find them for less than like $350, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's part of my problem with this game too. Is it's like it's not worth that. By all means, calm down.
No, it's not. But
pay a good price for it. But
I'll wait till it's back in print. I'll back it if I have to, or see if Adam's Apple has it at Origins.
Before we get into the rapid fire space games from other people, I will say, Chris, I have never watched an episode of Babylon 5. I know I need to correct that, but I've never watched an episode of Babylon 5. Have you guys watched it?
I may have. I don't know. I've seen a lot of like obscure space shows. It wasn't
okay.
Farscape and other things.
Before I do that, I still have my number one space show / movie.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Yeah, okay. I admit I wasn't like a huge space fan as a kid, or even Star Wars fan as a kid. But I've always loved Mel Brooks, so there's no denying Spaceballs is my favorite space movie of all time. I love it. It's so good. It's so funny. I was watching horror and offensive stuff at an age I should have not been watching horror and offensive stuff. And I loved it. And I always have. I always will. Mel Brooks, we love you. Never die. Keep creating stuff. Even History of the World Part 2 has its moments that are hilarious. And this man's in his 90s. I love Mel Brooks. Spaceballs, no exception.
We ain't found shit. from Star Trek is that Stormtrooper
even in the future nothing works.
Oh, it's great.
I wasn't gonna drop the F-bomb.
Your Schwartz is bigger than mine.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Spaceballs.
Your second cousin's father's roommate.
It's so good. It is so good.
So Wayne, let me just tell you, I had Firefly written down, right? I thought somebody else was going to talk about Firefly.
Hold on.
Firefly's for me is a no-brainer. I love Firefly, but Firefly is almost like, here's the thing. If we did like favorite Westerns, I would talk about Firefly, because for me, I just throw Firefly in the Western category. And I think especially the first season of Mandalorian is also a Western to me more than it is a sci-fi thing. That's not a dig. Also, funny story, I saw Serenity, the Firefly movie, before I saw a lick of Firefly. And I thought that movie was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bob has that same combination.
3, 4, 5.
For me, it's not a fair battle, because you look at all the Star Wars content that's come out, and you've got one season of Firefly and a movie, Serenity. That's not a fair battle. But I had it as number 9 because I really do like it. Man,
that Serenity is such a good movie, though. Man, it's a good movie, and that's a solid season of TV. That is a really solid season of television.
I wanted to address something really fast. I'm going to tag a comment I already tagged earlier. Anachrony is a top 5 game for me. It is still my favorite worker placement game, but it's based on the planet Earth. So I didn't consider that a space game at all. I thought of it. I was like, wait, is this based on another planet? No, it is late 26th century Earth. So I didn't include it. But I love that game.
Or anything.
It doesn't feel like a space game either.
It doesn't feel like a space game for me either.
I mean, not that Dune Imperium does either, but it still was my number 1 on this list. And if I didn't say it was a space theme, people would like bash me for it. Like Dune Imperium, I think I ranked number 12 when we did our top 50. So I love that game.
Let me throw out.
Fair point.
I mean, yes,
Chris.
but then okay, yeah, you know.
All right, so I'm going to throw out some of my honorable mentions on media first because we're kind of talking about that, and then I'll do my honorable mention games that I didn't say that I could have.
Ooh.
So The Expanse was very high up on my list. I had a feeling that Reed was going to talk about The Expanse, and not Mike. No offense, Mike, but like Reed seemed way more into sci-fi than you. So
none taken. I already know.
Because when I finished watching Deep Space Nine for the first time, and I absolutely was blown away by it, was like, this is one of the most amazing Trek seasons I've ever seen. And I messaged my friend who is like well versed in Trek next, and he goes, "No, watch The Expanse next." And I was like, "Okay." So that's what I did. So I haven't watched Voyager yet, to be honest. I've watched the first season of Discovery. I thought it was pretty good. It's kind of weird. You got to get used to like recalibrating your brain to being different Star Trek, sort of like the JJ verse of Trek, which is fine. So obviously Star Trek Deep Space Nine could have been on my list, but I wanted to talk about Wrath of Khan specifically if I'm going to talk about Star Trek. Dune, I think I enjoy the David Lynch movie for all the weirdness of it. The sci-fi show is hard to watch because of some of the bad effects, but it really conveys the book very well. And also the first couple of Dune novels are really good. And then it starts to get really weird and it kind of loses me, but I respect what it does. Like when you get to like Children of Dune, I'm kind of out of it. Fifth Element, 100%. I'm there for it. There's so many things about Fifth Element I absolutely love. I'm almost done, I swear. Firefly obviously was a huge one. I was like, somebody's going to talk about Firefly. Somebody will talk about Firefly. I left it off my list because I thought if I knew nobody was going to talk about Firefly, I would have had it at my 5 instead of Ender's Game. But whatever. That's what happens. Alien. I have talked about Alien ad nauseum. Alien is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. It is also one of my all-time favorite science fiction movies because it goes in both buckets. But Alien's amazing. Aliens is also amazing, but it's a different thing to me. It's an action movie versus like a Alien is.
Nope.
What?
Nothing. You're
Something
good.
happened?
Slight
okay.
video buffering. You're good.
Oh, okay. I was like, what happened? Oh no.
Making sure it didn't have to fill.
So I just had to say, like, Alien's super important to me. Whatever. We all talked about my love of Star Wars. I left Star Wars off, but I talked plenty about it. Last one I'll say is a sci-fi horror movie that I absolutely love with Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne. Event Horizon. So good. It's The Shining in space. The Event Horizon is such a cool horror movie. I saw that in theaters and it freaked me out.
Wow.
I enjoy The Event Horizon quite a bit. It's a little dated now, but I still really enjoy it because it's creepy, it's unsettling. It does some really fun things. So Reed, movies you need to see if you haven't. Pandorum, Event Horizon. I think those are the ones like really.
Horizon either, yeah.
Okay, yeah, watch Event Horizon. Again, Sam Neill just chewing scenery. It's so much fun. It's so good.
So Jason, I've got a bit of that. I hopefully can get my credentials back when I go through my honorable mention.
So yeah. And then I'll do my games real quick. So games I did not mention. Catan Starfarers. Superior Catan, a fantastic version of Catan. Star Trek Catan is also great. I have Escape from Aliens in Outer Space. I absolutely love this game so much. But somebody on Discord pointed out a problem with it is if somebody escapes early, then they kind of sit there and wait while everybody finishes the game. But the cat and mouse of that game is so much fun. And when you don't know, it's just as much fun when you don't know who the aliens are.
So much fun.
I agree. I mean, I used to have it I think if they supplied better markers, maybe I would have kept it.
Was already mentioned. Oh, what
I was
happened?
too lazy to go out and buy markers.
You were buffering, Tim. That's what happened.
I didn't even know. I was like so into my list.
Nope.
Cosmic Encounter was on my also ran, and then Escape from
figured.
Aliens in Outer Space. Escape from Aliens in Outer Space has a downtime issue at times on certain games, depending on how they play out. That's my honorable mentions. Reed, please.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So, movies, TV series. I'll go through quickly. So, 10 for me was Passengers. Great movie. Very kind of like isolated feeling movie. Amazing score. Like, score of that is incredible. Firefly Serenity, I mentioned, was my number 9. Thor Ragnarok was my number 8.
What a good underrated space movie. Oh, way to sneak that in. That's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. Good pick.
I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but The Eternals is my number 7. I loved The Eternals. I thought it was... I thought just the storytelling was amazing. It was a different Marvel movie, but...
It was. I don't... Here's my problem with The Eternals is I watched it and I went, okay. I don't know what I expected. You know, I kind of was hoping they would do like a James Gunn thing where it's like, oh, we've got all these characters that have been around for 50, 60 years, but how does that translate? And for me, it didn't click enough. I love Selma Hayek is like one of my all-time loves. And I don't think anybody is bad in that movie, but I think the other problem is when I went in to watch Eternals, I'm like, okay, what is this setting up for future Marvel Universe stuff? And it doesn't obviously really set up stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that it does a good job of that. I agree. But I think that as a one shot, it was just incredible. Like the everything, the visuals were amazing. It just had such deep story, I thought. So I liked it. I liked it was nice just to see some kind of superheroes that weren't cut from the same cloth. I think that was a cool thing. And yeah, my number 6, I'll also probably get some heat for. I just want to say first and foremost, I do not condone I don't condone all the choices that they made in this movie, but Cloud Atlas.
Oh wow!
I love that movie, and such like an all-star cast. The whole kind of people meeting again in different lifetimes, super cool. I had it as space because one of the storylines takes place in space. And it's like I feel like it's like almost every genre of movie rolled into one.
Yeah,
so cool.
The Wachowskis, the amazing. So their sci-fi movie with Channing Tatum was not good, not for me very good. But I loved the ambition of Cloud Atlas.
I agree with the sci-fi. I can't even remember what it was. With the bee woman or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just thought that was great. But Cloud Atlas for me, like I've probably seen it like easily like 6-7 times maybe.
But the Wachowskis, like they do such a good, or they just come up with such unique, like stuff that I'm always there for it. Like I gotta see it.
Like Sense8 was another one that was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Cloud Atlas. That was my number 6. So that brings me up to my list. And then board games. So I talked about Space Base being number 10. This one is for you, Jason. Alien Fate of the Nostromo is my number 9.
I haven't played it.
Oh, it's good. I like it. It's a good co-op. Lots of tension with the aliens. I think it's cool. Number 8, Star Trek Ascendancy.
I've always wanted to play this. I've always wanted to play this.
I've had, I don't know if I've had the best plays of it, but it's more that I like it in concept.
Oh, sure.
And then number 7 is Nemesis, again for you, Jason. Nemesis is great. Haven't played Lockdown, but enjoy Nemesis. And then 6 was BSG. I put Dark Moon over BSG just mechanically. I think it's better. But BSG is because I don't know. I don't like shuffling all those piles. It's something about shuffling little cards as often as you do in BSG that I'm just like, I'd rather just do the dice. But
I'm with you on all fronts on that.
Yeah.
I'd much rather roll dice than shuffle a bunch of cards. Always, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's me. What about you, Mike?
Okay, I don't have a ton of deep cuts on my honorable mentions for media, so we'll just get it out of the way. Infinity Wars. We've got a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy in that one, and again, those are my favorites. And we've got a lot of traveling through space in that one. So there you go. First Man, which is really the whole like true story of Neil Armstrong with Ryan Gosling. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. I do like movies based on true stories. And hey, he makes it to the moon. That's space.
Spoiler alert.
And and he walks on it and comes back. Survived. Also, he went to Purdue. Purdue alum. Not behind me anymore. Okay, and then wait, what'd you say? Reed, what'd you?
I said he wasn't infected.
Oh, yes. That's what I thought I heard. I had to make sure that got its air. And just for fun, I've watched this movie so many times. It's crazy. Killer Clowns in Outer Space.
What?
Killer Clowns in Outer Space.
Reed, have you never seen the Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Total B movie from like the late 80s, early 90s,
Like
and it's really a horror
1988.
movie.
I'm gonna guess it's 1988. Yeah, straight up, they're Killer Clowns from Outer Space. There's nothing more to the plot than that.
That's it. That's it. They turn people into like cotton candy and then like suck the blood out of them. It's ridiculous. I've watched it so many times.
Oh wow.
It's actually got kind of a fun, bad soundtrack too. If you're talking about like really good and majestic scores, and then you'll have this really goofy guitar riff from the Killer Clowns soundtrack. So you're welcome.
Really? The soundtrack? What? And there was a second one. They made 2 movies out of that.
No, they did. There's not a 2.
Yeah, there is. Yes, there is.
No,
I see
I
Halo
would have seen
there.
it.
That's another one I forgot to throw on my list. Not that I don't think so the game itself, we didn't do games. Games would be one story, but then the TV show, I enjoyed it. I don't know, like
I never watched the TV show. I couldn't bring myself to watch the TV show.
Okay. No, you're good. Okay, so my honorable mentions. Sidereal Confluence. This is like an outer space trading game where every player is an asymmetric faction that specializes in producing a different good. And that makes you a perfect trade candidate for certain other alien factions, which is a trading and negotiating game. And that's another thing I love in games is trading and negotiating, hence the cosmic encounter thing. And so it's really epic. It's really a table hog. There's a lot to learn in this game. There's a bit of overhead, but my 2 plays of this were fantastic, and I'd love to play again. Beyond the Sun, we all reviewed that and gave that glowing reviews. I was a little concerned that it could be a little samey. Like it's like Tech Tree the game, very accurate. It's got really solid gameplay in what is kind of a worker placement game, but you're like unlocking these techs that like branch off into other techs depending on the ones that you pick. Beyond the Sun is a really cool game, and they just put out an expansion for that game. The other thing I'll add to that real quick too is that was a first-time designer, which is crazy to me. I think that the game is really good. I mentioned this to Reed earlier that the crew Quest for Planet 9 is themeless, but I love that game. That is still my favorite trick-taking game because of the tension, the limited communication makes the last two tricks in every hand full of tension, and I love that. If I had played Gaia Project, I can just tell you it would have made this list because Terra Mystica used to be one of my favorite games, and I just love asymmetric, I can do things better than you can, and here's the cool stuff I can do. And Gaia Project takes that and builds on it in space, so I really need to play my copy. I do like Terraforming Mars, but and it's in my top 50. I don't love it. It's a bit long at 3 or more. I'd prefer to play it as like a 2-player experience because of the downtime. You're doing 2 actions on most turns, and it drags a little bit. I did mention Star Wars Deck Builder, which I think is a great 2-player game and builds on Star Realms and is better. I never did actually play Race for the Galaxy, but I do enjoy Roll for the Galaxy and New Frontiers. I think both of those are fantastic, actually.
I think Roll for me is way better than Race.
Again, it's those dice, right? Rolling dice behind a screen. Like, I love that. And then trying to figure out what action they're going to take. It's that whole, like, I love rolling dice behind a screen. You meant doing stuff behind a screen. You mentioned that, and I love trying to figure out what other people are trying to do when that's important in a game. I love that.
Yeah.
So Roll is great. And last but not least, I moved on from my copy, but Tiny Epic Galaxies was my favorite Tiny Epic game, and I thought it was pretty solid. The worst space game you can possibly buy, never, ever buy Star Wars Clue. Just don't. Even you, Reed. Don't. I know you love Clue. Don't.
I'm thinking about it. No, yeah, don't worry. I've got plenty of things that have replaced Clue. It's a lot of time ago.
Don't. That same
Clue anymore.
That same 10-year-old that got me into Star Wars, I helped raise for a little bit. I bought him Star Wars Clue, and like you got this thing that like sets up as like a 3D Death Star. And it just gets in the way. You're like, move so I can see the locations. It's totally frivolous. It is still Clue, but like, just don't use the 3D Death Star. Actually makes the game worse. So there you go. My honorable mentions.
I will say somebody mentioned in the comments Doctor Who. And yeah, Doctor Who. I am a Whovian from way back. I have fallen off after David Tennant left. I watched all of the Matt Smith episodes and then didn't watch as they came out the Peter Capaldi, but I like went back and watched them. So I'm behind. I've watched like 2 Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who. So I've got to catch up on my Doctor Who. I get it. But in my defense, I was a fan since like Tom Baker, back in the day, Pete Davidson, like all of those guys. So way back in the day. So I'll come around. It's just making the time and banging them all out and watching them.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's all of them.
That was a lot. Does anybody have any they want to throw at us? Any either media or games that we've missed? We'll give you a hot take on before we sign off.
Stock Wars Guess. Yeah, so Awkward Guess is a fantastic replacement for anything Clue. And if they made Stock Wars Guests, I'd be all for it.
Okay, so I've never played Black Angel, but I want to. Never played Pulsar. Never.
I already
Empires.
mentioned Pulsar because it's a Suchi game. So I'm sure it's great.
I haven't played Artemis Project. Haven't played Galileo Project, and I have not played Alien Frontiers. Wow, man, I'm striking out.
Yeah,
striking out on all of those.
I think those are mostly, if I'm not mistaken, I think most of those are Euros, right? I know Black Angel's a big Euro.
Yeah.
I'm not typically a Euro player, so I think that's probably why.
Gotcha.
And that's why Terraforming Mars is not higher on my list, because even though it's like a good compromise game for me and people who love Euros, because there's enough theme and card play that I can get into it. But I'm not a big fan of the whole point salad.
Gotcha. See,
Legend.
that's what got me. Euros got me into the hobby, and then like social deduction's probably number 2.
Oh, social deduction! I got a full calyx of social deduction games right beside me.
Nice.
Legendary encounters.
I have that back there too.
There's also the Predator expansion is in here as well. So I guess that counts for both, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Nice.
legendary encounters could have been on mine. I know my sound isn't as good now because I had to switch because I need to plug in my phone because it's gonna die.
Not terrible. You're fine.
But yeah, King of Tokyo does have a Space Penguin. Space Hulk Death Angel, really good solo player game, but yeah, it is a little rules heavy. Also, Star Wars Unlock is really good if you like Star Wars stuff, Reed, and you haven't played that, that's worth checking out.
Never
I
got to
borrowed
play
Dan's
through that.
copy. It's pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, I think those unlock games are always a good one. Just go to like a board game cafe and just crunch out as many of them as you can because I can't justify buying them.
Right? Yeah, that's
Fair.
true. That's true.
Fair.
But yeah, I've been intrigued by it. I mean, it's funny. I guess like all the Fantasy Flight stuff. I picked up Star Wars Destiny a long time ago, and I never really ended up playing it because I don't know why, but a lot of the FFG stuff doesn't really mesh with me for Star Wars. I'm a like hardcore, like I love the old Decipher stuff. Star Wars CCG was amazing.
Oh my god, that old
but
card game was so good. I played so much of that in the 90s. So much of that. I was hoping that the new deck builder was going to be like that. It's not at all. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's good, but it is not that game at all. Like I was really hoping to get back to having the locations, you know, and having like the specific pilots for the ships, and then you get
the
bonuses.
Destiny, like that was such a good concept. The idea that you've got this. Okay, maybe it's an underpowered card, but it's got a high destiny value, so it helps you out in other ways. That was really cool.
I have never played Space Alert or Starship Samurai, so I can't speak to either of those. I don't know about you
need
guys.
to play more space games.
Apparently. I mean, I'm looking. Like Galaxy Trucker could have been on my list. I love Galaxy Trucker.
Mission Red Planet's good. It's been a while since I've played it.
Aliens, another glorious day in the core is fun, really hard. Star Wars Imperial Assault is like a top for me. I think it's great, but I love Descent, right? It's the same engine. Yeah. It's just with Star Wars.
It is.
I need to play it. I've got all the stuff for it. I bought so many expansion packs. Also, I just got Moonrakers. I haven't had a chance to play that yet, but that's
so if you like negotiation, I think that one's really good. It's like a deck builder kind of mixed with Cosmic Encounter. I thought it was great, and I actually completely forgot about it until you brought it up in the Discord. I only got to play it once at Spencer's house, like over a year and a half ago, and I haven't gotten to revisit that one. I would love to play that game again. It's got so much going for it. I like how
I got Origins last year that I've never played yet.
Oh wow!
I've heard.
I think what's cool about Moonrakers is that like you've got. Like, yeah, you're building a deck, but you can also like buy parts for your ship and customize it. And you are making your ship and your deck an asset for other players that makes them want to do quests with you. I think that's super cool. I've never seen a game kind of quite do that. I think you'll really enjoy that, especially with what I've learned that you like with like social deduction and negotiation. I think you'll like Moonrakers a lot.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've got Star Wars Risk. I mean, apparently, like Star Wars Risk is actually a good game.
It is.
Here.
It is.
It's still in shrink. I've had it for years and never.
Or the regular edition.
What's that?
The black edition or the regular edition?
It's, I think, just the regular edition. Yeah.
Not Queen's Gambit is what he's talking about.
Oh no, not Queen's Gambit.
No, I mean,
Yes. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that
Fancy edition. I love that.
oh, it's so fancy.
Here we go. Let's queue up. Let's scroll way back up there and find Jason's comment about bragging about stuff that nobody has. Star Wars Risk is legitimately a fun game. It really is. And there's some extra stuff you can get off BGG that I think helps the game a lot too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Here's an interesting one. Social deduction.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
It's about, I think you're voting on which planets to send into the abyss and which ones to support.
Ooh.
And it's social deduction. Everyone's got their own planets and that they're trying to it's interesting. It's an interesting game. I've played it a couple of times. It's not top of my list, but I do enjoy it.
Which one was that? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Black Hole Council.
Oh,
Social deduction. It's who's Orange Machine. No.
I'd be down. That sounds cool. Like I like the
Yeah.
idea of like, oh, what do we send off? And okay, that one we played for the show, Soul, SOL, Soul, where you're like sending those ships like dive bombing.
Oh, I
into
forgot about
the
that.
star to gain energy
Mhm.
to like propel yourself, further away from the star before it goes supernova. That was a really good one. I like that quite a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Man, I'm trying looking.
Mind Clash had a straight to retail game called Astra that was interesting. It's kind of more astronomy, constellations and stuff. But it's weird. They give you markers, and you'd think it's a roll and write game, but it's not at all. There's only two actions you can do. You're either resting and gaining stardust, or you're marking stuff on constellations. And once a card gets filled with dots on the constellation, who has written the most dots on that card gains the card, and it's got a special ability. So it's kind of like you're doing miniature territory control on this little constellation card. Really interesting kind of take on, you've got a marker to show that you've got control. Really quite a unique game. I don't know that it's mind-blowing or anything. I gave it like a 7.5, but it's unique for what you get in a small-ish box and a cheap package.
That's cool. I mean, it's always good to find these games that have these interesting mechanics. And then take them and then pull them into something else. Look better, right?
No, it was definitely something I hadn't seen before, where like the territories control. It's like, your area majority on one card based on how many marks you've put on it. But the constellations, as you know, have like tree branches. Well, if you go, and the way this game works is that you make a mark, the next mark has to be adjacent to the previous mark you made. So you can't just put dots all over, a card. Constellation have branches out on them. So once you go towards a dead end where you can't backtrack and add more dots to it, and you can only add dots if you have space dust, hence that resting mechanic. So very kind of unique sort of game for sure.
Yeah.
Tim, what were you grabbing?
Chaosmos. Have you guys played this?
No. I've heard of this.
This is a Joy Vigor game. You're going around, you're exploring planets. The thing is each planet has like its own little envelope of cards in it. And one of the cards has like this space egg that you're trying to find, which is going to help you survive like the end of the universe. And then when if it's like a Big Bang sort of event, this is what's going to let you get like a jump start on everybody else, because you're going to survive the Big Bang with everything. And but the thing is you can choose to there's a little bit of social deduction in there, because you're trying to figure out like who found it, on what planet, and then did they leave it on a planet or do they have it with them? Because if I attack them and I can take one of their cards, I can take it from them. But if I know that they left it on this planet, but here's the other thing is you can leave traps on the planets. So if somebody then goes and explores a planet and then it's booby trapped. So there's a little bit of that in there. It's more fun at higher player counts, obviously, but you can play it at a lower player count. It's not as good. Because then and it's like, oh, they stashed it over there. But you've got to go around and kind of go down and explore these planets and try to find the different things that are on those planets. Super fun. I enjoy it. Yeah, you need a safety omelet.
A lot of people have mentioned Galaxy Trucker. I've only played that in app form.
Same here, yeah.
I love Galaxy Trucker. I've got my physical copy right over there.
I've never played the actual physical game. Only the app.
I was trying to walk around and see some of the games in my collection that I couldn't see as well from like where I'm sitting, just in case there was something I was missing. But
yeah,
I do have
Unsettled either. I actually backed Vindication. I love Vindication, but never got Unsettled. It just seemed like something that there was so much content. I didn't know if I would ever get the right group of people to go through it.
For Vindication?
No, for Unsettled. Vindication's just easy to pull out. It's with the game trays and everything. It's just easy to set up, and I swear they're not paying me, but
yeah, the components in that game are amazing.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Planetarium's another good one, where you're moving things around the planets, but like as you move things and then take stuff, it's moving other parts of the board. It's very fiddly though, because you're moving all these little individual pieces constantly. But it's not a bad game by any means. It's just can be a little bit of work. Maintaining that board state.
I never know if this game quite. No, I think this is like alternate universe type stuff, but it always felt like sci-fi to me, and that's Shards of Infinity. This is one of my favorite deck building games, like as far as just pure deck building. Tim, you missed it because I feel like it's alternate universe, but Shards of Infinity.
I can hear you when I walk away. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah,
how much I love that game.
Putting this on my list because I was like, but
I was trying to force it, but there's nothing in the description of the game that ever says it's anywhere in a different world or a different planet.
If this was just like a straight science fiction, then Shards is on there.
Oh, it's so good.
But I don't
Reed,
think space.
I'm just gonna ask. Oh man, it's one of the cheapest deck builders you can pick up. It's literally deck building battle royale. It's I've got health and you got to wipe me down to 0 health. Or
Star Realms. It's like Star Realms, but better in my opinion.
Or if you can't do that, there's this thing you can build up that has a one-shot kill card on it. If you draw that card and you got your mastery up high enough, bam! Which Tim did to me last time we played.
How's that feel, Mike?
Shut up.
Because that was infinity damage.
That happened the last time we had your little birthday party thing before everybody showed up. So if you show up this year and you wipe me at Shards of Infinity, we're not playing anymore. It's a really
sounds cool.
It's like you can get it most places for like $20. It's just cards and a character health dial. It's a really fantastic deck builder.
Well, and with your knowledge of games, Reed, it would take 3 minutes or less to teach you how to play, and you would be competitive right out the bat. Like,
yes.
I mean, really, you would be.
Nice.
It's nice. It's fun. If you like Star Realms, to me, it is better than Star Realms, and it plays similar.
I wanted to pigeonhole it.
There's on my shelf of shame that I really need to get into. I've got Invictus, Direwild. Not sure. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I've got a ton of deck builders here. I think Legendary Encounters we started. I didn't mind it, but a person I was playing with didn't like it very much. So
Oh, that stinks. You know, when
but
that
I'm not a
happens.
big I'm not big on Legendary to begin with. Anyways, I got rid of my copy of Marvel Legendary.
I like mine. I mean, but it's
Mm.
also not for everybody, right? There's definitely preferred flavors of
Yeah.
deck builders out there.
I just don't want to buy a punch, you know? Like I don't want to buy
Oh,
Hulk punching someone. I want to buy the Hulk.
right, right. Yeah, I get it.
My biggest problem with it.
I totally
Yeah,
get
that
that.
was
Yeah,
that was one of my gateway games. So I played that
Mm.
one a lot years ago. I ended up selling it too, though. Quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. My brother's got like everything for it. He lives in the UK, so whenever I go visit him, we're playing tons of Legendary. So I get my fill from him. I figure that's probably enough, and then
and you're like, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, all right,
All right,
guys.
Tim, you're still looking around the shelf like you got
I
something.
know, I know. I thought I did. I'm like, okay, anything else I'm missing?
I've
'Cause
got
I
one
like
right
to.
here in space. There you go.
I like to be sure. I've got Survive Space Attack. That's the
Yes.
one Survive game I have, and I enjoy that quite a bit.
Nice. Yeah, I do too.
It's so mean.
I do too. Good one.
It's so mean. I've got a bunch of space games that are on my shelf of shame. But like First Martians.
Oh.
Mm.
But Eminent Domain is a space game.
Oh, I have that. I
Right.
played it. I think that's a deck builder too. It's been a while since I played it. What's Ricochet? Ricochet Robots.
I haven't played that one. Ooh, I got one for Reed.
I know, my big one is just playing my Gaia project because I loved Terra Mystica.
I like Terra Mystica too.
Yeah. I found it locally too. He had like the Geek Up bags and
Nice. That's cool. Yeah.
I played this once. I bought this off of some dude at a convention, and he had fixed all the ships so that they didn't go in the stands, but they had these he put these magnetic clips in there.
Mhm.
So then they just magnetically clipped to the base, so you didn't have like all the tall sprues for everything. But it's pretty fun. It's a little wild, a little random. But the one time I played it, I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. But being
sorry, yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean that looks really cool. I think there's so many Star Trek games out there. Yeah, I wouldn't even know really where to begin.
I mean, we could talk about X-Wing,
Oh.
right?
whoops.
That's cool. Yeah, X-Wing. So this is the other thing is I didn't know whether to put Star Wars Miniatures on here because Star Wars Miniatures was like that was my college. we just all got into Star Wars Miniatures and it was all about building a team. And I remember just crushing people with Darth Bane. It's so much fun.
So were you playing what the hell is it called? I can't even think of the name. Legion? Star Wars Legion?
No, because doesn't that involve like measuring? I don't like games with measuring. I just feel like I don't want to use a ruler. I just want to count spaces.
Seems too fiddly.
But it looked really cool. I
played.
mean, yeah, I feel like Fantasy Flight has like a lot of heavy Star Wars games, and I just feel like they maybe need to branch out a little bit more with the IP.
Yeah, I think if you could get a lighter. Now, I will say Imperial Assault is pretty easy to learn, and the app makes it great to play. So I think you'll be fine there. You're going to have a really good time. But I would love a rules light Star Wars like spaceship combat game, you know.
Yeah.
Some stuff like that. But
there's definitely
X-Wings X-Wing's not too bad. You will have some measuring, Reed, so I apologize.
No,
but
I think I bought X-Wing at some point. I have some of them somewhere, but when I found out I had to measure, I'm like, okay, I'm just keeping you because you look cool.
Right. Yeah, well, I kind of got into X-Wing because I just wanted to have like Tooth and Slave One and some of the other Star Wars ships that I absolutely love. And then Dan is a big X-Wing fan, so we actually got to play it, and I'm like, this is amazing because I used to play Warhammer back in the day. And so this is, Star Wars Warhammer. You've got X amount of points, you build your fleet, and then you go to town.
If you can find them for cheap, you should try Star Wars Miniatures because it's exactly like that.
Okay.
You can do a 100-point game, 200-point game. All the characters are worth
Sweet.
different point values.
Yeah. Okay, exactly like that. Nice. All right, Star Wars Miniatures. I'm gonna have to look at that.
Yeah, and I saw Jason mentioned a couple of Kickstarter space games. I've got a couple
myself. Yeah.
Arcs and Andromeda's Edge, I think, are the two that I've got in the queue.
Okay. Yeah, I've got Last Light backed and waiting for that to come.
Stellaris
That's
looks
my big
cool, but I don't back without rule books.
Well, and they had no gameplay on that freaking campaign until 20 days in, and it wasn't even a good gameplay video. I wanted to back that one so bad. They just gave me no reason to do so.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm not going to get it because I might get it when it comes out. But yeah,
they didn't try to sell the game. They're just like, "Hey, here's what we got." Yeah, I'm with.
For me, it's always kind of a red flag of like, how far are you along?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I've got this monster, but I haven't played it yet.
Nice.
Stars of Icaros. But yeah, I haven't played it yet, so I can't really speak.
I forgot the best space game, which is Lupin Chewie. It's Lupin Chewie,
Star Wars Lupin Louie.
Chewbacca. I don't know why that game is like taken off with my group. Like we had like a Bonspiel and there was a Lupin Louie tournament.
That's a legit thing. Chewie only 3 players and Lupin Louie is 4. I think that's the difference, right? Isn't Lupin Louie Chewie only? I thought it had a lower player count.
I don't know. I mean, I think
maybe I imagine that.
Supposed to have 4, but my friend that has it only has 3 for some reason.
Yeah, I thought Lupin Chewie only had 3 for some reason, but maybe I'm making that up. But I'm totally prepared to be wrong.
Bob, we did briefly mention Soul a little bit ago. Yeah, that one's kind of wild, moving your ship sort of in a circle, trying to work towards the middle and getting points if they explode into the sun. Kind of interesting. Oh, Voidfall. Yeah, I'm glad somebody got that. I really wanted to get Voidfall, but man, thinking about a 3 to 4 hour space 4X game from David Turksey, like that sounds epic, but I'm like, I'll play someone else's copy gladly. A bit too much for me to go all in on, for sure.
What's that Awakened Realms one? Are
you talking about, well, in a space game?
Yeah.
I mean, Lords of Ragnarok's coming.
No,
but
SS Vanguard. SS
Vanguard.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I haven't played it. I think Spencer's got it or backed it. I don't know if it's arrived yet.
I will say, Bob, I mean, I saw Stellaris, I think, was it Origins last year? They had the setup and they were showing people the game. So I think it's coming along. I played the video game. I honestly, like, the video game is not my favorite thing, but the soundtrack from that game is amazing. It's perfect background music. Just put on Stellaris music and it's perfect.
just-
Like,
True. Stellaris. Yeah. True.
yeah.
True. And yeah,
We actually
Jason.
played it at my wedding.
Nice.
There were like a couple of like Stellaris tracks thrown in there. And one person was like,
Nice.
Stellaris?
Like, look here. Well, if they actually got it, good for them. Otherwise, it's like, look here, nerds. This is my wedding. We're gonna do what I want. I mean, I get it. We played Flight of the Conchords at my wedding because my wife and I like that, and everybody's like, "What? What's this?" Doesn't matter. It's not for you. It's not for you.
Yeah, ISO's Vanguard. Can't. Yeah, I might pick that up when it at some point in retail if it's still available. I don't have
I'm
the
sure
top 4, by the way, of my top 5 list. I don't own the top 4. I only own Dune Imperium.
That's all right. That's all right. That's
I
allowed.
just know people with them. I mean, big 4X games. How many times are you gonna need a copy?
yeah.
You know someone with a copy.
Right.
I mean, that's the rub, right? Is like,
Mhm.
you know, especially like for me early on in my collection, it's like I'm buying every game. I want to have all these games, and then after a while, it's kind of like, now it's like, okay, who am I going to play it with? How many people in my group are going to have it?
Mhm.
Some games I want anyways, whether I'm going to get them to the table or not, because I want them, because
Yeah.
eventually I will play them. And then there's other times where it's like, well, I guess I'm fine not having that because Mike's got it, or Bob's got it, or, you know, Dan's got it. Somebody else has got it.
Yeah.
I know I have access to it and I'll get it played. So it's tough. Also, like, I got enough way
Mhm.
junk. Like, I've got to cull this down somehow. Like, I'm hoping my kids get more interested,
Hmm.
you know, like beyond just like King of Tokyo and other things, because then I can like start to really like bring them in. But
Don't worry,
Oh,
I'll
and
keep
I'll
play-
sending you games. I feel like you need more games, right? I'll keep
Thank you, Reed.
sending them
Thank
your
you.
way as they come out.
Reed, you are my emotional support. It's like when I'm in Board Gamers Anonymous, I'm like, Reed, I thought about buying this game. Should I buy it? And you're my sponsor, and you're like, yes. I'm like, thank you.
Oh, perfect.
It works the opposite way, right? For
You
me.
enabler.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to
Absolutely.
do. You're supposed to enable it.
You want some catnip?
Put it right in there.
Yes.
Well, all right, man. It's like 11:30 for me. I've got to get up at 5. So
Oh wow. Yeah.
not that this hasn't been amazing, but I'm gonna need to sign off.
Yeah, no worries. I think it's probably a good call for me too.
But Reed absolutely lived up to expectations and the hype for me. I'm excited. It was so much fun to get to do a top 10 with you, like a top 10, right? Like a real fun mix between the media and the games themselves. And so what a fun idea. We've never done that before, Mike.
We have not.
I know Mike dreads that because I'm the movie guy, and it's like, oh, well, if we were going to do like top 10 sports games and then your favorite sports moments, Mike's going to be like all there for it, no matter what, like hardcore. But for me, like, I mean, I could do that too, because I'm a nerd. But I'm a die-hard movie fanatic. So, man, I got these chords all discombobulated. Okay. Don't worry about me.
Not worried.
No, man. What an awesome idea, though. What an awesome idea to combine the media with the top 10 list.
Sure.
I'm not going to say that we won't steal that for future ideas, because
Yeah, for sure.
that was really good. That was really good.
Maybe come back for superheroes at some point.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay. So Reed, if you have time at any point in time while your Kickstarter is live for Hidden Motives and you want to do that, just let me know.
Yeah.
Because we could totally do it. Now I get it. If you're running a Kickstarter
and stuff's really hectic for you, totally unreasonable to try to capitalize your time for that kind of thing. But if you are available before or after and you want to do something like that, I am down to clown. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll find some time for sure.
Tim, what you should have been asking is, what do we have to do to get a copy of Catnip Auction House to the rundown so that we can preview it before it hits Kickstarter? Or is it going straight? Is it going straight to pre-order?
So yeah, so it's actually on pre-order right now.
Nice.
Yeah, if you don't mind me plugging.
No, plug.
No.
You're here. You're here.
Plug.
Tin Robots has it on pre-order right now. Tin Robots, sorry. It's only one robot.
I got you.
Yeah. Tin Robot also has Cities of Venus coming Kickstarter soon. Yep.
It's kind of on theme, yeah. So I helped playtest that one. It's I mean I backed it. I really like it. Really nice. Very, very, very light Euro.
Yeah, I liked it. We had fun.
But yeah, Catnip Auction House. Code meow gets you 25% off.
Ooh.
Very light game. Very fun. Yeah.
Buy it. Meow.
Meow.
How many times are we gonna say meow? You play that game now. Meow.
Right meow.
Right
There
meow.
you go. It's all in there.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, we Reed, I know you're gonna have it at Origins. So like please you tell me when's a good time, and we will make a time work that we can sit down and we can film something and we'll do it on camera. And then I'm hoping that we can actually like play a game or two together while we're in Columbus. So if you've got time, dude, I would love to actually like hang out with you, because I met you at Origins IRL, right? Last year, but it was kind of like I'm working a booth. It was like a handshake and a quick conversation. And but it would be awesome to just get to like legit hang out with you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Say Tim using his sales expertise to get me to buy Bang the Dice game expansions.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm a buffer in real life too.
We're talking about your good sales skills. How you got me to buy some Bang the Dice game expansions.
That's what I do. It's working for the Italians, not those Italians, different Italians, but still the Italians.
Yeah, definitely. I've got some games of Vigilante. I think I'm doing some demos, and then I've got some pitching. But other than that, I think I'll be around down to play some games. Yeah.
Like let's even post like con shuts down. Like let's have a beverage. Let's play a game. Let's do some stuff. It'll be a good time. It'll be a real good time.
Beverages and games. That sounds terrible.
I know, right? But again, Reed, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Coming on strong with the sci-fi themes and the games.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And thanks for all the ideas. Everyone in chat too. I need to play some games.
I know. Well, that's the awesome thing, right? Is it's like Mike and I have played a ton of games between us, but there's still so many games we haven't played, we haven't seen, we haven't heard of, or we have heard of and just never got around to. And it's like, okay, well that now I really need to play it. So,
or it's sitting on our shelf of shame.
What?
Before we sign off, two big takeaways. One, I gotta watch Hitchhiker's Guide for the Galaxy, BBC. Gotta watch that. And two, I need to play Catnip Auction House. I'm just saying.
For sure.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Mike and I love auction games, and also I'm a cat person, so you had me there. One of the first Kickstarter I ever backed is called Laser Cats. I got it somewhere, and it's the dumbest, funniest like little card game, and it's cats shooting lasers out of their eyeballs, like from the SNL sketch, Laser Cats. Which if you're not familiar with Laser Cats, get on YouTube, look up Laser Cats. Andy Samberg, Bill Hader. You're gonna love it. So
Nice.
Reed, have you seen Laser Cats?
I've never seen it. It's
Okay.
gonna check it out.
Okay, if you get a weird link from me in about 20 minutes, I'm not a crazy person. This is a thing. Oh, Mike left because of Laser Cats. Mike lasered himself out of here.
What the heck happened there? That was a strange thing. Now I'm over here.
I got my cat laser pointer right here.
Yeah. There we go. All right, guys. Anything else? Obviously, play Vigilante. Look for it. Look for it. And then we're going to be talking up hidden motives as we get closer to the Kickstarter. So, just saying. And Reed, please do me a favor. This is you. I'm asking you to do this, so don't feel bad about doing this. But share a link to that pre-order in the Discord and on the YouTube if you want.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So please do.
Yeah.
Because that way everybody can see it if people come back and watch it later.
Mm-hmm. I'll show you my weird Kickstarter video. It's not quite. That
one. Yes.
I love it. I'm not a crazy person, but I'll be sending you a weird link in 20 minutes. Okay.
Weirdo.
That's me. You what you see is what you get.
True.
All right, Mike, good job tonight. I know you were nervous initially about this list.
You did great. You had great picks.
You killed it, Mike.
Thanks.
You did good.
They were mainstream and, as Bob said, basic, but it was fun. And I ended up with way more to pick from than I thought originally.
And Mike, because you went mainstream, I could go and talk about really weird, obscure stuff. And so it makes it easier for me. So I don't have to do
There
mainstream.
you go.
So I appreciate it. It's a good tandem.
Right.
So, and then Reed came. You knew Reed was going to come to play because it was his list.
It was his idea. Absolutely.
Yeah. Surprisingly, not that much crossover.
Yeah. Well, we pivoted a little, right? Like, you said this one, so I'm going to this one. But yeah, no, there could have just been like, Star Trek, Star Wars, Firefly totally deserves to be there, but like Doctor Who, I mean, you could have just done like a default top 5. Everybody could have agreed. Nice handshake. That was fun. See you later. But I'd rather pick some weird shit and like be like, oh, okay, like here's something weird. Check this out. So yes, be ready in about now 15 minutes for the weird Laser Cats YouTube links.
Sounds good. Every time to eat.
So anyways, you guys got anything else before we sign off?
No, sir.
Right on. Oh, Kroll. Yeah, we didn't mention Kroll. Was that Kevin Sorbo or was that somebody else in Kroll? I forget. Kroll was old.
Wasn't he Andromeda?
Yes, he was in Andromeda.
Yeah. I'm working on a space game, by the way. Waiting for the prototype in the mail.
What?
It's gonna be fire, I think. I don't know. It's theoretically it's going to be fire. In actuality, we'll see.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about it because
Space worker placement.
Oh, it's terrible. What a horrible idea. We don't like those kind of games.
Send it to us. We want to play it.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds very cool. All right, little Easter eggs, little nuggets for everybody that made it to the very end of the show. But all right, guys. So for the actually, before we officially sign off, if you haven't, please like, subscribe, all those things. We love you. Join the Discord, all those things. Look at this. Bob's getting mad at you now.
It's it looks pretty rough right now. Lots of ugly AI art, and I don't know. It's worker placement engine building, so should be fun.
You want to see some ugly AI art? Is somebody in our show chat thread made AI art versions of me and Bob and Dan, and the results are mixed at best because in most of them I have hair and it looks real weird.
And he's hilarious.
He's a bard in most of them, and Zuckerberg in the others.
Yeah. I mean, I would take 1/10 of Zuckerberg's money, so
Well,
I'd be fine with that.
and probably 1/10 of his hair too.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I'm fine being bald. I know what's up. It's all good.
Yeah. Welcome to the club.
Reed's got my back. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. All right, guys. Well, thanks everybody that showed up for the show. Thank you, Reed. Thank you, Mike, as always for every week. So for the board game rundown, I've been Tim.
I was Mike.
I'm still Reed.
Yay! We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Later.